All right, everyone. It is the Thursday night forum. We are here. We're here. Arsenal's not here. They've gone to all sorts of places on the globe, east, west, Middle East, Dubai, all that stuff. But we're here Thursday night forum. Stan will be joining shortly. Tony will be catching up also. But I do have a live guest to talk to also, a panelist. Gary, welcome.
Hello, Ray. I was going to say Ryan. I don't even know why. Hello, Ray. Hello, everybody in the chat. I see Big Gunner, Riddy. Welcome to the show. So our team is they've taken a vacation. You know, they worked really hard, and they got a little vacation out of it. So good for them.
So, listen, we're going to have a few things to talk about, but hopefully the chat room can steer us in some directions of discussion as well to fill some gaps in. Like Arsenal need to fill some spots in their squad as well, in their first team, in their, you know, let's get into it, Gary. We could have had more this season. I'm not excited for any transfer at this point. Season's done for me, a little bit early, in my opinion. BX Gunner, and right now is the point where we can either be downtrodden and then Arsenal can surprise us, or we can be downhearted and Arsenal will confirm our worst fears. We could have had players shipped out and brought in the first week. The club does horrible business. Correct, indeed. To which I titled this podcast, Arsenal, the slowest club around. Or is there a plan, Stan? Is there a plan?
Me?
Yeah.
I thought you were talking about like the other Stan.
Well,
It is a question for both of you.
Hold on,
only one of you.
It is unfortunate that you do have the same name. You know.
I'm sorry for you, Stan.
I know.
I'm sorry.
He's not silent, Stan, though.
Sometimes I'm on Twitter and I see people say, that Stan is a fucking bastard. And I'm like, I don't even know you. And then I realise they're talking about the owner.
When Ray Anderson's in the chat, I see people talking to a Ray, and sometimes I think it's me. You know what I mean? But mostly it is Semble. But yeah, Stan, what's your feeling? Is the club is there a plan? Is the club going to gazump us as supporters, as fans?
Okay, I'll put it like this. Obviously, the best way I put it is I think the unrest that we're kind of seeing at the moment is just down to anxiety, plain and simple. I'm feeling quite anxious about what's happening. Never seen so many players leave the club in one go. I mean, I looked at my phone and I saw Callum Chambers had left a few hours ago. There was no warning of that. There was never any discussion of that. None of the in the knows kind of said anything was happening. However, although I'm anxious and I want to say, like, what the hell are you doing? Do something. I'm kind of buttoning my lip until that transfer window is shut. Because you never know. Just as like we never knew anything about Callum Chambers, it could mean that something's being teed up. We could be given another name as a smoke screen, like we were with Maddison. Everyone was kind of like looking over at Maddison and Buendia. Mm-hmm. Meanwhile, Madrid wanted 63 million for Odegaard, and we waited it out and got a much better price. So you never know. And I have to give them credit for the work that they did in the summer. So as much as I feel anxious, and I would like to have seen, movement happening before now, I'm just going to try and keep my shit together until the window closes.
Hold your stuff together. Hold your shit together. Gary, are you holding it together?
I'm trying, but I'm just going to say hi to
That's the expression. That's the one we need.
Yeah, I'm going to say hi to a couple people in the chat that just joined us. Mr. Tom, he said his three favorite Thursday night boys. Yeah, he said he knows what he said, so he's not drunk. Riddy, the same thing. He said in the evening to Gary, Ray, and Stan, and Noe has also joined us and said hello to us. So thank you. So yeah, welcome to the show. Can you repeat your question again?
Are you losing your shit?
You're holding your shit, and then you gave us the expression for holding your shit.
I want Gary's expression as an emoji. That's a brilliant emoji.
Hey, Tony could do that.
Yeah, no, you know what? I keep saying I'm numb, and they keep making me numb. Even we're expecting nothing to happen. Next thing you know, like everybody's out the club, right? I mean, it was like nothing's going to happen. Next thing you know, boom, like 4 or 5 people are out. It seems it's probably not that big a deal, but it is a lot of people have left the club since this whole window has started. Questions have not been answered in terms of who's coming in. That's always been a question for us, right? So I don't want to wait because I feel like the sooner the better. But I know I understand these things take time. But I mean, I don't.
You understand it, but you don't type like
I,
you
I don't like it. I don't like it.
Yeah.
I feel like it's. I always feel like there's better use of their time than to drag these things out, or it seems like they're dragging these things out. I mean, all of this business that we're talking about now could have been done already because none of it would have affected the Doosan, whatever they would. If they were going after Doosan, I don't think any of that would have been affected because it wasn't like they were talking to the Doosan representatives 24/7. Right, there are gaps in between the back and forth that goes in. So I don't. There's a lot of business that can be done, and I thought we could bring in somebody. We need a midfielder, we need a right back reserve, we need a striker, somebody who's going to score. There are options out there, and maybe one thing that did stand out. Maybe Bruno is not what they want. Who knows what that means then if he's not what they want, right? So there's a lot of questions that need to be answered. Hopefully they can do that in 4 days.
Yep.
4 days.
Of course. Stan, Raul will tell you that they work on these things. The famous Raul Senye told us.
The Don.
The Don told us they work on these things all year long, so they're ready. And now we're down to 4 days. Really wants to know which one has a better chance, a new signing this window or a Kahoot game tonight. Well, really, I'm not prepared, so Arsenal better be.
You did it on purpose because you wanted a new signing. See, so really good question. Ray has just answered that question. We're gonna have a new signing.
Yeah, Mr. Tom. No, I'm reading that the way he would probably say it. I know what I said.
I mean, even though I said I was trying to keep my shit together, it doesn't help when you see Bruno Gummy Bears is going to Newcastle or Donny van der Osmond is going on loan to Crystal Palace. It's kind of, you think to yourself, you look at those two players and you're thinking, couldn't we have used their help in some way? They're two quality players. So as much as I'm trying to sort of keep it buttoned, when you see these things happening in front of you, you're like, well, who's going to be walking in the door?
Yeah. And as much as we don't want to use the 3 words that everybody hates people saying, Arsenal fans saying, TTP, I'm not going to say it. You have to maybe think about what we did in the summertime. Does that give you any confidence, Gary?
No. Whatever we did in the summer is not. It's a new window. So I would expect them to, just like I expect the team to come out and play against. We saw them play against City, and then we expect them to play. We know they can do it now, right? So then I expected to see something similar in the next game. All right, that's what I expected, regardless of who was going on the pitch, because everybody's at the same practice, so everybody's seeing the same thing. So go through this window. Go through the last window. I see some really good things. They plug some holes. This one, all they've done is opened up even more holes than we had, right? And holes that we didn't expect to have, right? Maitland-Niles and Chambers are basically taking out 2 of our most versatile, people from the bench, right? Yeah. So now now we definitely are weak. Our depth is not as good. We don't have as many versatile players outside of maybe Saka. Who else? Maybe Ben White a little bit, I think. Tomiyasu has been mentioned as somebody who's versatile on the defensive end, can play anywhere there.
Centrally and right side,
yeah. So I think, but we just, we kind of weakened ourselves if we needed it. If everything's perfect, then it doesn't matter. But nothing goes perfect. This is Arsenal, right? And this is just football. People will get a knock and they'll be out for a game. People will get a card and they'll be out for a game. People will get sick.
Red card.
people will get sick and they'll be out for a game. So it's all these variables just into a season, and regardless of how many games you're playing, you have to plan for it, plan for the worst, so you're not surprised, right? And I think I'm hoping we don't get surprised, but we're playing once again. We're playing kind of playing with fire, but if we don't go out and get at least some players, I think. I mean, Arteta will take. I mean, we just saw it. He didn't have enough players. He took some of his youth players, and the last thing he was going to do is put them into the game, regardless, right? The only players he put in there were the ones that were there from before. So he's not confident doing that, and he doesn't. And they're not ready to go in, I guess, and they should be somewhat ready to go in there and play, right? To some degree, they should be able to go in there and give about 5 to 10 minutes or 20 minutes, because we're going to need it, and it's going to be good experience for them anyways. So yeah, I don't know if I rambled on about everything and anything, but yeah, what I saw in the summer, I expected to see something similar in the fall, in this January window, and I saw them get rid of a lot of players, and that's probably good, but not the players I thought. People are still going. We still have Holding, and we still have Cedric. Players that are Cedric is here, and he's our reserve right back now. The last time Maitland-Niles and Chambers played, they played really well, right? And they're gone. At least Chambers is gone for good, and Maitland-Niles, who knows? So we kind of players go out there and they do their job, and then it looks like they not necessarily get punished for it, but then we never see them again. So I don't know.
Who's blowing whistles? Some games going on. Matt Turner. Did anyone see Matt Turner tonight against El Salvador?
Yeah, I was watching that. He looked okay. I mean, I think because they play a different kind of style, it's not. I didn't see what things that Ramsdale does for that they do. So we'll see. He looked okay, and I think everybody thinks he's fighting for the number one spot. So he must be good in that sense, right? Because you got Matt Stefan is, I think, the number one. He's a pretty good goalkeeper.
Yeah,
so
the Man City second goalkeeper is the number one U.S. goalkeeper, I believe. Stan, 2 ways to do this. You bring the players in, then you get rid of the ones you don't want, the shitbag six. We've gone about getting rid of some of the shitbag six, and hopefully we're going to bring in some players now in the next 4 days.
Well, there is a part of me that wants to say that they look like they've been trying to bring people in. Whether they're the right people or not, whether they're people that you wanted, it seems like they really were trying to get a deal done with Dusan Vlahovic. The money was there. So it sounds like we've got money to spend. There's money that we can throw around at the minute. And then there was the Arthur Melo deal that apparently the ownership stepped in and said, no. 18 months on loan and an obligation to buy. It's a bit one way, that is. And I agree with them for stepping in on that, because I was a little bit horrified when I heard that we were looking to do a deal like that with someone that comes with baggage as well. You just look at taking a one season loan with an obligation and take it from there, if anything, right? So I'm glad that they
put their fingers burned on something before that they're starting to learn lessons.
Well, yeah, I'm glad that they went in. I'm glad that they just didn't let them. I wish they stepped in. I wish they stepped in for Willian as well. So they're learning. They are learning. But as I say, it's so hard because anything could happen. You could wake up tomorrow morning and we've got 2 new players.
Yeah,
but I think we're looking at. You see. Towards the beginning of the window, it was more that we were panicking that we had to bring players in because that we were short because of the AFCON, especially in midfield. But then the way that things went with games being postponed and so forth, and teams in the AFCON not progressing, we've almost got everybody back now. I think the only one really out there is El Neni, right? That's really out there. So if they are going to bring players in now, it's for a different reason. Before it was more of a panic. We haven't got anybody. But now we're basically back to where we were come our next game. So if they're going to bring anyone in now, for me, it should be about upgrading or enhancing, giving us even more depth because of the outgoings. I'd like to think that they're looking at improving upon a Granit Xhaka and an El Neni. If any of those two want to hang about and be squad players, maybe that's a different conversation. I don't think Xhaka sees himself as a squad player. He could probably go and get a deal and play every week somewhere else. Great, that would suit me fine. Then you got El Neni. El Neni, I think I like him as a squad player. And what I like about him is that he can do a job, he can close out games, but he doesn't moan about being a squad player.
Yeah.
So we know that he's not going to upset the apple cart rather than bringing in another backup player who then starts to kick up a fuss that they're not seeing enough game time, or they promised one thing and not receiving another.
Every squad needs those kind of players, and even the best Manchester United teams, City even, they have players who are willing to sit on the bench, come in and play, close out games when they need to. So every successful team and squad needs players who are happy to do that and have a certain level to do that as well. And Elneny representing Arsenal quite well in the AFCON right now. I gotta give some respect to Elneny. I know he gets a lot of disrespect, I think, from the younger generation. Gary, what's your thoughts on Elneny?
No, as Stan said, he's a player. He's a role player. He knows his place. He knows his role on the squad. And you know what? He gives you 100%, which you can't say that, I believe, for other players. And they play within their skill set. And his skill set is not as big as some of the other players we have. But he gives you everything he's got, and you're happy for that. Some days he even has a really good day, and he scores, which is a plus. But yeah, you want those types of players that know where they are and they're comfortable with that. So yeah, no, I mean, I don't see a reason to get rid of him. Everybody's like, just get rid of Elneny. I'm like, why?
It's far worse.
Why? I mean, he's gonna if you had a full squad, he might be the third string or the fourth string. I don't know if you call it strings, but he would be like, you might have four people in front of him, and that's fine, right? And I think he'll be okay with that because he is going to get games. We will bring him in, and Arteta's comfortable doing that. So yeah, no, Elneny for me is no reason to get rid of him unless he wants to go somewhere else, right? We need to bring in. We brought in. We brought in Sambi, and he's in front of Elneny. No problems there. We might need another. I think we need another player to make it four midfielders in front of him. Not because he's bad, but I think there are probably better skilled players out there that can give us everything that Arteta wants. He'll give you some defensive stuff, but I think the offensive stuff is what we're missing, right? We need that person to be able to control the middle. That's not what he's going to do for us the way we want to, as far as I think the way we want to play. So for me, Elneny could stay. There's other players that need to go, either because they don't fit what Arteta wants to do, or he doesn't even play them. If he's not going to play them, then that means he doesn't want them, right? So I mean, Chambers barely got to play, and he's got a good skill set in him. Maitland-Niles has skill set in him. He didn't play him either, right? So I mean, all the players that are letting go are players they don't play. Cedric, for some reason, is still here. Kolasinac stayed as long as he could.
4-year contract, Cedric. 2 years ago, 4-year contract. So when we're selling a right back, it was always going to be Callum Chambers and not Cedric.
Well, you know what? It's easier. I mean, I would say it's easier to sell a Chambers, but they got a good deal, didn't they? I mean, I don't think they spent much money on him at all.
Even Gerrard's got a decent player for the mid-table that they're going to be in. Maybe Villa's going to push a little bit, but Steven Gerrard rocks up to Arsenal and gets one of our players for a song, pretty much. A good.
I think it's like 3 million with bonuses and add-ons or whatever.
Yeah, I heard 2, but still,
not really that much.
2 and 3 is nothing. You know what I mean?
And especially as he had maybe, I think it was they could have given him a 1 more year extension and helped to get a little bit more value out of him.
Yeah, so for like all this time, they've always been extending and giving new contracts to players for certain reasons. They finally have a player he's finally somewhat healthy, right? He's actually gone out and played well, and they just let him go. So I don't get that. Whereas other players,
they didn't protect his value. They didn't do anything to enhance the value of the player.
Yeah, I assume it's hard to tell. Did they feel they were getting burned, or they feel like it didn't matter? And it's like, all right, I never. You never know. But they everything they do sometimes seems to backfire on them. So
I'm not in a situation right now where I'm looking over our shoulders, but Villa are what, probably 8 or 9 points behind us, but I never see the point really in enhancing a rival's team or squad mid-season, especially. Rudy says perhaps this is all part of the Amazon documentary and set up for an epic deadline day. I mean, last year we went and got Thomas Partey. Maybe something similar is in the offing, and the cameras are going to be there to document everything. Jeff says I have no problem with
I've got visions of a Range Rover skidding around the corner, heading up towards the La Liga offices, and you've got like Edu and like Mikel Arteta with balaclavas on. Do you know what I mean? Black suits on.
We did have fun with that.
Case of money to pay someone's termination fee.
About 18 months.
Somebody at the ATM trying to put the code in, going, "Hey, what's going on? It's not working. What is the code? What is the code?"
We did have some fun with the Partey in terms of ninjas turning up in Spain, dropping a big cachet of cash in the offices and going to take Partey early in the morning before Simeone wakes up.
I have no problem sleeping money when that was all going down.
I have no problem with the type of players we're moving out, says Jeff. My problem is we're bringing no one in. So remains to be seen. Listen, come back here next Thursday. Might have some egg on my face, but I think we're not moving players out. That we're just not doing anything, Stan.
Unless this is, since Mikel Arteta has been in charge, he has financially been backed quite heavily by the ownership, right? 220 odd million or so that he's had to spend. Maybe this is a thing where they want money coming back in some shape or form. And there's been an emphasis on getting rid of a lot of these players. Didn't one of our players go on loan to Tottenham? I mean, what's that all about? One of somebody's gone on loan.
One of the ladies. Yeah, one of the ladies. I was like,
we're supposed to be helping these kids' future, not stumping their growth by sending them to fucking Tottenham. Do you know?
Maybe that player was doing too well, and we needed to peg her back a little bit. You know what I mean? Jeff also asked, why do we leave it so late in the window to make signings? We're never proactive. I don't know. I can't answer that question, but it is dumbfounding, Jeff.
I mean, here's some cracking news. I don't know if it's, Luis Diaz, I don't know if you guys know, he, I think Tottenham was looking at him, or that team was looking at him, and now Liverpool stepped in, and it's going to...
Diego Luis, did you say?
No, Luis Diaz.
Oh, yeah, okay.
From Porto, I don't, So suppose, yeah. I mean, that's a big deal. 45 plus 20. I don't know what that means. So 45 million plus 20 million. I don't know what that means. If that's, a fee and I don't know. Probably, yeah. But it's like $70 million, 70 million euros. Sorry, for that player. So
and this, Gary, this is what you have to do in the January window. Teams want to keep their players. Teams are fighting relegation. Teams are trying to get promotion. Teams are in Europe. They're not going to part with their assets so easily.
No. Well, I mean, and you know what? If it's the case of bringing them, for me, I felt like Arsenal needs to bring players in now, not in the summer, because we'll be doing the same thing again, right? End of the summer, maybe the first week of the season, we'll bring in players in, and we really, really shouldn't do that because it takes so long for them to get integrated into the squad. I don't think Arteta can just take a player and know, all right, here's their skill set. I can bring them in and actually get the best out of them immediately.
Yeah.
And based on whatever their skill set is coming in, I kind of feel like he's, and that should be understandable, being that he's never done it before, right? And he hasn't necessarily brought somebody in with a skill set and immediately you see their
plug and play
right away.
Yeah, plug and play. The issue really is mid-season. Players want to stay with their clubs. They want to finish the season, Stan, with their club. They want to know where the club is that they're going to, of where they've already qualified, what they've already qualified for. Are they going to be in the Champions League? Are they going to be in the Europa League? They want to know the story before they're going to jump ship to another team.
I was hearing this about Bert Leno. Apparently, is interested in Newcastle because they're interested in him, but he would prefer perhaps to wait to the end of the season in case they get relegated. And as I tweeted out yesterday, bring me the players that don't say that. Bring me the players that turn around and say, "Yeah, I'm interested in the project that's going on at your club, and I will come there and I will help you get into Europe."
Yeah.
I believe in my qualities, and if you think I'll prove to you that I was the right person for you to bring in. Where's that? Now, where is the players
It's
trying to
not
sell
it's not
themselves?
there anymore.
All this like, well, are they going to be in Europe next year? Well, if you're a striker and we need a striker, and come and be the hero. It looks all set up for you to come. It's all set up for Dusan Vlahovic to come here and be the hero and fire us into Europe. But he took the easy way out. He wanted to stay in the same league where he already knows all the opposition. He went for the safety bet, the comfy option. And I'm glad we didn't get him, to be honest, because as well as the stats may speak for themselves, him and his agent, they left a bad taste in my mouth, man. I mean,
Yeah.
imagine when if we'd got him and it's now our turn to try and move him on. Can you imagine the palaver that we'd be in because of the agent, offers being missed because of this and that, him not communicating with the club and telling us, what his situation is, what he would like to do, and we left hanging in the wind. It's ridiculous. I really hope he goes to Juve, right? And he really, really flops. And I really hope that his agent drops a piece of toast butter side down. That's how annoyed I am at the
I
pair
hate
of
when
them.
that happens. Butter side down. These samples said, why should Elneny be happy not being in the Arsenal first team when he can be elsewhere, get more money and get in the first team? And maybe Elneny's going to probably leave in the summer, but for now he's a good squad player. And you're right, the assembled player will want to play eventually. Playing for Arsenal, as Stan and Gary says, there's a lot of prestige playing for Arsenal. We have a big fan following worldwide. BX, why would Bayern buy Pepe? That's a wind up. The other thing as well, Gary, look around the Vlahovic. Look at the team you're coming into. You got internationals all around you: Saka, Emile Smith Rowe, Erdegaard, Martinelli. Why would you not be enthusiastic, as Stan said, about coming into that situation? He was always ready to go to Juventus, in my opinion.
Yeah, and that's the thing right there. The other side of this could be that he was never coming to Arsenal, and all Arsenal did was just speed up his move to Juve, right? Maybe that's exactly what they wanted, and they got exactly, and Arsenal obliged in their movement, because I don't think Florentino needed to get him out because he wasn't staying, right? It was common knowledge he
His
wasn't staying.
contract was up in another
Yeah,
16 months from
and
now.
he wasn't signing. So for me, he wasn't coming. He didn't want to be there, and it's in their best interest to get the most money that they can and get it done sooner than later, so they can make a move. I mean, think about this: he's sold. They've already got their. I think they've already brought in two. They have one striker they brought in, and then they bring in another one. In that whole time, Arsenal has just been looking at their player and doesn't have a plan B that's ready to go.
That we know of.
That they just got rid of Dusan today, and they have another striker.
Yes.
So, and they are what? It's much smaller than us, right? As a squad, Fiorentina and Arsenal, they're not on the same plane, right? So if they can already have identified the striker for their player that's leaving, then Arsenal, if there are other strikers out there that they wanted, could have done that as well. All right. I mean, he's like I just saw the post. He's gone.
Yeah,
right? He's got the shirt on and everything like
Dusan
that.
went to Juve and they got his replacement
They
already.
got his replacement already. So Arsenal cannot work in those circles. They're not that fast. They don't have those resources. They don't have that staff. They don't have the monies. I think they do, or maybe they don't. But Arsenal's been. That's where, like you said, based on what they did in the summer, do we give them the benefit of the doubt that they know what players they want and they have an answer in mind to that? I don't know. We'll find out. If they don't get top 4, top 6, then I think they failed. Right, in this decision not to go forward in the January window.
I've got a question on that a little bit later. Go ahead, Stan.
I can just see Edu sitting in the office, right, on his chair, back like that, like talking like he's giving it to agents and all that, and talking facts and figures. And then when you put the speaker on, turns out man's on the phone to the speaking clock. Do you know what I mean? Because no one's taking his calls.
Yeah.
Somebody walks in his office. He's like, yeah, okay, yeah, we'll talk to you later. Click.
Yeah.
Anytime somebody walks
and then
in.
when they walk out the office, go, sorry about that, Mum. The boss just walked in.
Comrade Turner is here.
What is going on here?
Live from Chernobyl, Tony Turner.
I know, exactly. Live from the streets. It's a little smoky here. I don't know what that smoke is.
Hello,
don't worry about those smokestacks. That's all right. It's clear air coming out of it. That's it.
Russian bikers on acid.
Can't hear you. A so-called big club would have a decent manager who'd know how to use their players properly. Very true.
Yeah, and that's the other part to this thing is, are we letting players go and spending more money on players that have exactly what he wants?
What's that, Stan?
This is some wrestling thing. I don't know this.
Oh, yeah.
Man, I'm still a bit upset that Paul Bearer betrayed The Undertaker at SummerSlam 1996. I do know of The Undertaker. I'm that old.
So Stan, now would Dusty Baker be also somebody that you are familiar with?
Dusty Baker? Dusty Rhodes?
Dusty Rhodes, sorry. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, man. Of course. The American Dream, Dusty Rhodes.
And Sugar and Superfly Snuka, whatever his name was.
Superfly Jimmy Snuka. I named my cat after his daughter. He's got a daughter wrestler called Tamina Snuka. My cat's called Tamina.
That's what Saturday mornings were for me was Dusty Rhodes and Jimmy Superfly Snuka. You know, that was Saturday mornings. You know, you waited for that every week, and then it got to night evening stuff. So you guys it's all changed now. So is Tony going to talk to us?
Can we hear you, Tony?
Yeah.
Only at the Arsenal fan circle.
The Wi-Fi in the fucking Wi-Fi service in Chernobyl is not up to scratch.
Thursday night forum has blocked Tony because his expletives go up on Thursday nights.
Oh man,
it's R-rated. Can you hear us now? Can we hear you?
Tony Lepenyenko, where are you?
Shevchenko.
Move away from the reactor.
I know exactly.
Fucking hell.
You couldn't make this stuff up.
I love Thursday nights on there. You know that. I love it. You just don't know what's going to happen.
You know, I try to do the same thing Sundays and Thursdays, but somehow, Stan, Thursdays just come out a little bit different, right? I don't know. Man. Maybe it's the mix. We don't have him out here.
We still can't hear him. What's going on? We should just act like we can hear him.
This is a we can do it.
That's right. That is right, Tony. Yeah. Give me a 5. Give me 5.
Somebody let Tony out of the box, please. He's a mime artist.
We cannot hear him. Does he know that? We cannot hear you.
You're done, Tony. Can't hear your son. What's happening?
Newcastle going to outbid us for any player we seem interested in. Why are we taking so damn long to sign anyone?
I mean, I don't know how much that Bruno Gummy Bears was getting paid at his old club in France, but I've heard that not only obviously they're paying up for the transfer in one go because they can, but he's being given 4 times his salary, what he was currently earning.
Yeah,
and I'm sure that he's got to be earning more than 20 grand a week. So that's what our competition is as well. But Arsenal never come across as the team that, if they've somehow missed the opportunity on Bruno and then they hear about it, Arsenal always seem like the team that are like, oh, okay, we better let him finish talking to Newcastle then. We're too polite to go in and try and gazump the deal and offer better terms or
offer in there and get him. I mean,
yeah, we just seem really polite about the way that we do our business. Then at the end of the day, all's fair in love and war. If the guy's there and you think you've got a better deal, even if he turns us down, at least it shows intent.
And the other thing is, a year or two from now, they could be the team that we're afraid of. So why not bully them now when we have the
It's not
opportunity?
even that. It's whether or not do you want the player. If you want the player, you go get the player.
Yeah.
I mean,
It seems we don't want the player.
Yeah, and that's the part that
maybe Edu knows that he can get him at a cut price when he's in the Championship in Newcastle next season. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, the Brazilian, it's perfect. The Brazilian connection. You got Martinelli, went to the Olympics and won a gold medal with Bruno, and I don't know what happens. Gary, I don't think Jeff said I don't think top players believe in Arsenal's project. Why should they?
I don't think we know. We don't believe in whatever its Arsenal project is, right? Anybody here believe in it? I mean, some of us don't even know
I
what
don't.
it is. Oh, there we go.
It's disturbing.
Fucking finally, I'm out of a box.
You're definitely out of the box. They, prisoners get like what 90 minutes of fresh air. So
He's out of Chernobyl. I don't think top players, but yeah, I said the one already. Why should they?
yeah.
Because
I mean, does anybody here trust this project?
not 100%. I gotta say.
It's either you trust or you don't. You can't like.
Can't ride the
when
fence, Ray.
when it suits you to be just this or just that.
Actually, did you trust it? And you said I can't give you 100%. So then you don't trust it.
If it's over 50%, I trust it.
No.
You can't round up, Ray.
I know what he's
It
talking
is.
about. I can't round
I
up.
think
50%.
Arteta cracked down on what they're able to do in their downtime. A complete overhaul on settings. It's disrupted everyone, but he's cleaning shop. So, Stan, let's get into this. All right, when Arteta met Stanley in the Wild Wild West, what do you think happened? This is a good opportunity for an improv session if you want to do that as well.
Well, first of all, right, he's been summoned, right? Do you know what I mean? Like, he's been summoned. So does that mean that he's in the shit when he gets summoned? I don't know. If you're in the shit, do they just turn up unannounced to see what you're up to? Was it to do with the vetoing of a deal? An update on targets? But then again, those kind of things can be done on a Zoom call. You don't have to fly halfway around the world to do things like that. Now, then obviously, there's been a lot of talk about him getting his contract renewed already. It's been talked about Mikel Arteta is going to be offered a new contract. Personally, I don't think that a new contract should be discussed until the end of the season, when you can look at what the work is and you say, okay, what have you achieved here? All right. But they did tell us at the beginning of the season, remember that Edu interview, he said that there weren't really targets. There wasn't targets, right? So is there a target? For me, the minimum is Europe. So that's the Europa League proper. So that's a 6th finish. I don't see how we can give him a contract when we finish outside the top 6. Now, the only reason I think that they're probably talking about giving him a contract this early is they must have an inkling that maybe Pep's going to be moving on soon, and they worried that Man City are looking at Mikel Arteta as their successor. However, if I was Man City, I think that they should have their sights set a bit higher than Mikel Arteta, because he's not pulling up trees at Arsenal. There've been some nice spells. There has been some nice things that I've seen, but he's not pulling up trees. It's very indecisive at the moment. So why has he gone there? I don't know. I mean, is it a bonding thing? I don't know what it is, or maybe Kroenke didn't even know he was coming. He just showed up. I mean, he just turned up. Says, "All right, I need a chat, man." So the money's on the table. We've got money. So I have no idea. I'd love to know.
I've seen some captions where Kroenke says, "Who? Excuse me. Who is this? Who is this person?"
Clicking his fingers and asking for another drink. Are you there? I'd like another gin and tonic. Oh, that's the Arsenal manager. Oh.
Or he's told his assistant, if I look in distress, call me on my phone in 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Say I have to go to an urgent meeting. Gary, what's your reading? You want to improv a little bit on that meeting? What happened? Or just lay it down.
I really don't know why he was meeting him, and it just doesn't make any sense. I mean, it's not like it's on the way, right? Denver is not on the way to Dubai, or is there some kind of
flight to Dubai?
He's getting his frequent flyers miles in.
Your layover is in Denver, Mr. Arteta.
Okay.
He was using his frequent flyer miles.
It's cheaper to fly. That's right. It's cheaper to fly out of Denver than London to go to Dubai. So that's what they did. Now I don't know why he would be going there. You would hope it's for the team and not for himself, because the problem is the team is, they've told us they don't really have any goals. They could have told us, they could have lied to us and said we have goals and we know what they are, but we're not going to tell you. But they said no, we don't have any goals. We just came to play some football, right? So so they could obviously give him a contract extension just based on the fact that they're playing football. Who cares about the results? I guess. I think that's the scary part. Is as long as they're in that mid, anywhere from 12 to 8, they're probably okay with that. You know.
Yeah.
And I think if he overachieves, then they're even more happy about that as well, because that just means more money. So I don't think they are invested in this project to win anything. Right, I think if you look at
you wouldn't be in this game to win things, Gary.
Well, I'm just saying, the Rams are trying to win a Super Bowl, and it looks like he's invested in that.
Excuse me, one sport at a time. I can't multitask.
The man owns all these sports teams. They all want to win championships. He wants to be there for it. Guess who gets the trophy when they?
He doesn't own all of them. His wife owns some.
He
of
does.
them too, Gary.
He owns all the sport. KFC is his thing, not his wife's. His wife doesn't own any of that stuff.
It makes some good chicken too.
She has more money than him, but I don't think her name's not it's him that gets the trophy when they win the Super Bowl.
She owned the Nuggets, I know for sure, and
is that right?
And MLS team too.
Maybe BX is right. Maybe it's something to do with the Amazon documentary, a scene or something. You like a voiceover. After bad results, Mikel was summoned to Denver, and then he walks in and it's like, "Hey, Mikel, how are you? We're going to give you a new contract, huh?" Do you know what I mean? It's like some sort of double play for the documentary.
Not going the Abramovich route. We're gonna hear Stan's voice sooner or later, I think.
You think so?
Or do you think it might be like Blofeld?
More likely than
like Blofeld in that film Spectre, when he's in that big room and there's a guy that has to lean in and he whispers and then the guy says what he's actually said. You actually don't hear his voice. Do you know what I mean? It's like that. Yes, Stan says that we're not happy about the Arthur Melo deal. 18-month loan. Do you know what I mean? People listening in, telling him, you don't hear his voice.
Wah, 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 wah. Yeah, he said he's not. No, he said nope. Nope. Wah, 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 wah. And your 2-year contract is up. So, or you have 2 years left on your contract. So, who knows what's going to happen.
Everybody sit across from him in the office. He has the lighting so that when you sit across from him, it looks like he's just like a black silhouette. You can't see his features or anything.
Okay, we're gonna have to go to.
No, I don't know this. I don't know when we get to this point, but one thing I do believe is that until Arteta gets all of his own players, none of this we won't see what Arteta football is. So right now, look who is left. Who's left?
Yeah, it's easier to ask you the question.
Come on, Gary, your turn's over. Ready to listen to
Kroenke isn't an ambitious owner, says BX Gunner. That's why Arteta's in place, because he's not going to moan about anything, deal with what he's got. Arteta will leave only if a club comes and gets him.
Can I just say a quick thing as well? And I said it on my Birdcat Wonderland earlier in the week, and it's something that was the first time I heard it sort of mooted was from Ryan, same old Arsenal USA. And once I heard it, it's always been in the back of my head because I think it rings true. And I think that when it comes to the owners, they look at Mikel Arteta as the project.
Yep. I believe
not so much the team. That's an extension of Mikel Arteta, but I think that he is the project for whatever reason.
They've invested a lot in him, and they've stumped up a lot of money, especially in the summer when the club has seemed to change course from experienced talent to young, youthful exuberance that are hungry players. So, Tony, Mikel Arteta turns up in Denver. On his way to Dubai, somehow he ends up in Denver. And what's the scenario? What happens? Did he think his big...
What happened or what happens?
Did he go cap in hand like you, or cap in head?
Do you want to hear my real answer or my made up answer?
I would like both, actually.
The real answer is that he went there to discuss striking options. That's what I kept reading.
Or he's flying all the way there to Denver, right, on the overnight, gets off the plane, he's jet lagged, gets in the car, takes him all the way up to the ranch. He walks in, he's sweating, he's tired, and
And Vladic's gone by the time he gets there.
Stan Kroenke just looks up and says, "Where do you?"
You have a slight echo.
No, it's not me.
Hey, you do.
I can hear it echoing as well.
Is it me?
Someone's got something turned up.
Who is it?
Tony. Yeah,
It's not
Tony.
Tony. It's gotta be Tony.
It's coming from Chernobyl, I bet you.
I think so. I think I hear some accents.
I barely have
Really
my
strong
It's not me.
accents.
Why
in
does
there.
Tony just returned from a 1986 where he has killed a rival biker?
Tony's on dial-up.
Tony, we need to go back.
Yeah, let's-
56K rate.
Dial-up.
Let's say a little hello to some of the. I think there's some new people
Exactly.
in there.
Great,
I see
great to have everyone in there.
Lolo's in there. Steve Denham, Jeff Zoo.
I like
Zoe.
Rudy's comment, but best so far.
The Americans. All right,
That was a
don't
great
talk over
TV show,
Gary.
by the way.
Don't be rude. They're talking over Gary like that.
You asked me a fucking question, and Gary jumped
Why
in. What are you
is-
talking about?
Why
My
is-
turn to be
what's the
talking.
language. Come on, dude.
All right, shout out a few people, Gary.
Lolo, hello. Jeff Zhao, I think is how you say your name. I hope I got it right.
I'm the
Steve Denham.
Steve's here, not Lolo. He didn't say he was
Stop
Lolo.
it, Tony. Thank you.
Put him back in the box.
Yes, I think that's it. And there's some Tony Turner, who's always the assembled has joined us. Welcome. So if Steve the
Denham's in
silence, yeah, Steve Denham is in there. Yeah, that's what.
BX
Thank
from
you for joining.
Texas.
BX Gunner
Oh,
is
he's
in
in.
the house.
No, he was from Texas, but he's in Charlotte.
Yeah,
Carolina,
Charlotte. Yeah.
I believe.
I don't know if there's a
Yeah.
Texas link. I know it's Charlotte, and his family's down in Florida. So, listen, we know our group. We know our group, and it's great to have familiar faces and one.
It's all in your Menudo notebook.
yeah. I was just gonna say to Lolo, if you look at Arteta's starting 11, how many of those players did he not bring in? This is he brought in is pretty much the back, except for the back, except for Tierney, the back line. Partey he brought in, and he seems to want to replace some other players as well. The striker's going to be new. Xhaka's replacement will be new.
He'll get a replacement?
Presto, you'd think so. Chambers means Bellerin will be back. He'll give him another chance. Yeah,
That
that's scary.
okay. You know what? Now, no.
Forgot about
Tony's
him.
victim take his vocal cords as a final revenge. All right, so Tony, listen, we got to get your take on Callum Chambers leaving. I know he's one of your favorites. You love the flowing locks.
I almost cried when he cut him back off. I loved his COVID look. Beard, fairly curly locks. But to me, he's a player that we never valued, that we never gave a chance he deserved. Goes to Fulham, wins player of the year for them, playing in the midfield. He can play 5 different positions. I fondly remembered when he got 3 assists, 2 as right back, 1 as left back in a Europa game. But to me, giving him away for $2 million, or some people have it down as a free transfer, so maybe he terminated a contract when he's worth almost $11 million. To me, it's bad business getting rid of Mari and him. It should have been one or other. I don't care who. I would have kept Chambers. I would have sold Holding. But
Tony Turns.
I'm not going making good choices. To me, I think it's a mistake. We're thin enough now. Now what happens when Gabriel picks up the red card? You have Holding with White.
Not Gabriel, it's Xhaka as well.
I know you might have White in the midfield, so who you have just Holding in the back?
Stan,
Doesn't make
Stan,
sense to me. We're too thin.
I think Stevie G is that's a club we're going to come to hate a little bit, Aston Villa. Gary will famously say we kept them in the league a couple of years ago. But do we want to be strengthening a team like Aston Villa like that, albeit Callum Chambers?
I was thinking about Aston Villa today, and I was thinking to myself that Arsenal's star for me is fading. And I remember having this conversation maybe 6 months ago on a podcast saying that, how long do you think it's going to be where we're going to be able to have that? Oh, it's Arsenal. People will come to us. I think our star is fading. I think it's been fading for a while now. And, it just shows you that I think that someone like Stevie G has a lot more pull. I think if there's a player that's going to get a phone call and he gets a phone call from Mikel and then it's followed up by a phone call by Steven Gerrard, I think Gerrard has a bit more pull at the moment. And that this could end up, if we're going to be a mid-table team that's flirting around about the Europa League places, it's just another problem for us, because I think Aston Villa are going to be in the ascendancy.
Interesting. Presto plays, join us as well. Unless Oba himself has moved on, doesn't want to fight, then we call it quits, but no use making it even more toxic than it is. Is he on the plane, Gary? Aubameyang?
No.
He didn't go to Dubai, right?
He's not on the plane. He's not on the plane. He's on the train. He's on the bus. He's not,
He's already been to Dubai, hasn't he? He doesn't need to go again.
That is true. He did get he got his ticket. He got his ticket stamped there, so he's already done that. Yeah.
Where's Wally at?
So, Gary, I connected some dots as well. Tell me if this is true or not. Not that you know, right? But this could be a theory. Brownie moved to Dubai in anticipation of Arsenal taking a mid-season break out there in Dubai so he could follow the team. A well-known Arsenal podcaster, Brownie.
Yeah, he's a closet. Yeah, he's got. I know he has Arsenal bed sheets. I know he does. He definitely does.
Arsenal boxer shorts.
He
we're
definitely
going to do
does.
fever pitch. We're going to do that fever pitch.
You know what? I don't think we
right?
want him wearing boxer shorts. I just don't. We call him Brownie for a reason, right? So I don't.
Boxer shorts with
no. See, I wasn't even going there, but you went there. But
you set him up and not come.
No, I think Aubameyang. I mean, if you're going to do that to your highest paid player, he shouldn't even be here. He shouldn't be here. He should be gone already. They should have made up whatever deal they could to get him to play somewhere else, be it paying part of his salary, because right now they're paying his salary and he's not playing. So
just to say that, Gary, I read today that he's earned $3 million since he last played for us.
Who?
And they're going to make $3 million on the Chambers deal. At the most, probably, I think is the
transfer straight to Orba. There you go, mate. In advance.
There's Lolo. What's up, fellas? Tony looks like an enforcer.
Yeah.
We are collecting some money there, Tony. Hustling people.
Yeah.
We need to hustle for you though. Like one of the Expendables.
I got $5 last week after the show.
Tony's got lots of leather.
But even before they went off to Dubai, I was hearing that when Aubameyang was training, but when he's training, he's trained separately. But not only does he train separately, at different times. They don't want him anywhere near any of the other players by the sounds of it. That tells me that they believe that in some ways that he's a bad influence.
It's a bit draconian. It's a lot.
And so it shouldn't even get to the point where we hear all these things. It should be he's gone. That should be what we hear. All right. The window opened. He was gone. All right. The window's open. He is gone. That's the way it should have worked. Because this is what are you holding on to him for? And why are you paying all of his salary? Does it matter if he goes somewhere they pay part of his salary? To me, it doesn't, because they're, like you said, they just spent $3 million on it anyways, and he got nothing for it. So what difference does it make if they only spend whatever the rest of his salary is for the rest of his contract or the rest of this year? Because they're not getting anything out of it. I never understood just having a player sitting around paying his salary and not getting something back, right? If I told you, you're gonna have to pay me $10 a month, and you said I can work it out that I'm gonna pay half of it, and somebody else is gonna pay half of it. Is that okay? That should be okay, right? Because better than nothing, because I'm getting nothing for it. So I think he should have already been gone, because, like you said, it's a distraction, and
it's like having a machine that can make things for you, but you're not using the machine. It's just sitting in the corner. You paid for it.
Yeah, think about it.
My takeaway from that is that Ray pays Gary £10 to be on the pod.
I don't get paid anything. I wish.
But it takes five.
Think about it. If they paid half of his salary, right, and then you were to get a player out there, at least you know you saved money. You saved half of Aubameyang's salary. You use the other half to bring the new player in. You haven't lost anything there because you were paying it anyways.
See, I think the thing is though, with his way his contract is, right, he holds all the cards. He ain't going to go anywhere that doesn't suit him to go on loan.
You'd be stupid not to say I want all my money. That just doesn't make any sense, right? That makes no sense. The only thing he won't get is any of his bonuses, right? So he's got a set salary, and then it's the bonuses that he won't get. But he's not playing, so he'll never get those.
Two clubs in the Middle East are interested and paying all of his wages, which is rare. But he doesn't want to go there.
He wants to stay in Europe for some reason.
He wants to stay in Europe, and if a European team comes in, they're not going to be able to pay all of his wages.
Yeah.
So he holds all the cards, really. He can say, I'm not going to go anywhere on loan. I don't like any of these places.
You know what? He should get his money. Arsenal was dumb enough to give it to him and then didn't do all they could to make sure it was worth their money, right? They put all that money into like we talk about a project, right? You put all this money into a project, like, for example, Arteta, and then you don't support it. We always said that doesn't make any sense. Well, this is the same thing. You put all this money into Aubameyang, and you didn't support him.
Yeah,
right?
I hope Jeff doesn't mind us calling him Pope Sue. So, yeah, Arteta is the project, I believe. We got all of our takes except for Tony's because he was stuck in a cube in Chernobyl at the time. What's your take on? Are you panicking? I think you're panicking. We got 4 days to go till the end of the window.
Let me answer for Tony.
Go.
No, I was just kidding. I just wanted to see him kind of stress.
Sweat it out. Still dark there. You can't see the bead to sweat on him like Total Recall style. What do you think, Tony? What's your read on it?
My read on it is we should have acted faster.
No. Are you calm or are you less than calm about it? We don't need a history.
It is what it is. I'm not either one to answer. Yeah, I'm not worked up either way.
You know where Tony was going to go. He was going to tell us about 40 million for Granit Xhaka.
No, I wasn't. I tell you, we should have been busy in a transfer window.
The accountant. So listen, you're pretty not calm about it, okay, Tony? Is that right?
Only thing that angers me and that makes me nervous is the no midfielder thing. We let 2 of our targets get sold to other teams. I don't want Arthur on an 18-month loan. I want him on a 6-month loan. His stats are identical to Xhaka. He's not an improvement of anybody we said. Arteta said we're only to buy players. I guess we're not buying him, but buy players, bring in players that improve the team. So far, we've sat on our ass and sold players, made the squad thinner. It's just
gives me. But
he's got 2 red cards already for the season.
Who's that? Xhaka?
No. Is it Bruno?
I don't know.
Arthur.
That gives me confidence, though, Tony, that we're going to go do something because we have emptied out the squad so much. Kolasinac has left. Balogun has gone on loan to Middlesbrough. He got 10 minutes up there.
We still had Kolasinac?
Probably more. No, Kolasinac is gone.
No, I said we still had him. I didn't know he was still here before he left.
No, he left. Yeah, we had him. I'm going to ask all of you this question, and it relates to being out of both of the cups. A little bit tough to talk about this. And BX Gunner, Charlotte, family in NYC and Florida. LOL. Gary, out of the 2 cups, does it make it a good season? Obviously, I believe a good season is we get top 4, a successful season. Having gone out of 2 cups, getting top 4 is a good season. Having gone out of 2 cups, getting top 6 is less, obviously.
Oh, I got distracted. What did you say?
I go to you for
What's if we're out of 2 cups and we finish 8th, Ray? What's that?
that's a really bad season.
Does Uncle Artie get sacked then, or you gotta keep him around more?
If he gets top 6, I believe he stays.
If he finishes 8th, like I just asked, and we're out of both cups for the first time since 89, 90, do you sack him?
Yeah.
Okay.
Stan's thinking about it.
That's failure.
That's
minimum. The minimum is Europe. It's Euro League. That's the minimum requirement. I mean, how long are we going to be out of Europe for? You can only buy the good players, right? As we said earlier, they're always like, well, if you look in Europe, I'll have to wait and see. So we have to get there. It's a failure. I mean, he's not been able to get us into Europe. That's the prime directive, isn't it, for a club like Arsenal?
Yeah,
should be top 4. But...
So Stan, does it being out of the 2 cups? Okay, this January was terrible. We obviously didn't prepare for the AFCON. Being out of 2 cups, a good season is getting top 4. Will a lot of fans see it somewhat less than that if we don't get top 4 now, because you only have the 17 games left in the season, you know?
Well, you go out to Dubai, and the reason for going out to Dubai for me now is to get the players to focus on one job. It's like the meme, innit? You had one job. We only have one job now, and that is it. No distractions. It should be 1 game a week now, maybe a couple of weeks because of the postponements that we might have 2 games in a rare week. But this is the sole focus now. Everybody has to be on the same page. Everybody has to be pulling in the same direction. Maybe having a distraction like Aubameyang training with the team isn't a good idea, you know, because I think that this finishing in the Europa League proper is extremely vital to Arsenal in so many ways, you know, to the finances that we're able to spend, to the quality of the players, so much. Renewing season tickets, everything. It's such a vital thing. So Mikel Arteta has got no excuses. This is his sole focus, and he has to get the players solely focused on that with him as well.
Yeah. That focus, Gary, for 17 games. Going away to Dubai, going to have a good time. We saw, did you see Aaron Ramsdale and Ben White hanging out? So.
Yeah, no, they're going away. It's hopefully some team building. They come back. They need to be playing for each other once again, right? I mean, I think we saw that. We saw that in the Liverpool. We saw that in the Man City games. The teams, the players were playing for themselves, and they looked really good out there enjoying the football. So this is a break. You know, is it a welcomed break? I'm not. I would like them to keep playing football, but they need to. They have to come out, and was it Wolves is our next game?
Mm-hmm.
I think it's if it's Wolves,
middle of February, isn't it, or the end of February?
Yeah, it's like middle of February. Like,
I think it's like the 5th or 6th or something.
They got like 3 weeks. 3 weeks from now, they will be playing against Wolves, and Partey should be back by then, right, and rested and ready to go. Jocko definitely will be back. Everything should look the way it looks, like
pretty good team.
If it isn't, then what's the point? What is the point of this thing? You know, if he doesn't, if it doesn't look right, then that means he doesn't have the players he wants. And if he doesn't have the players he wants, then why didn't they get them in this window? Right. So I expect us to have a really good game because we're going to have over a month to plan for it. Right. I mean, it's going to be like 5 weeks from the time that they had close to a top squad because and Partey have been out for like the last 2 games, right?
I think that the FA Cup will have been going on the weekend before we meet Wolves. So
we don't know what you're talking about, Ray. What is that?
FA it is Cup? A cup competition. It is the oldest cup competition.
It's like a vase, isn't it? That you put flowers
it's
in.
Our trophy, and we're renting it out for the last 2 years now to somebody else. Leicester City were one of them.
I know not what you speak, FA Cup.
It would have sent us to Europe if we won it. Probably the only way we're getting to Europe this season since we haven't enforced the team.
Yeah, and when Stan talks about being in Europe, it's not that conference table thing that we want to be in.
Conference league, not table.
I know.
Right.
I the only
The only positive of that league would be that at least the youth players would get to play, right? So like if Patino is still playing U23s, which he shouldn't, right? I expect him to be out on loan, but any of those players U23s that are like on the cusp of maybe getting acclimated and getting into the senior team, they should get to play that. I don't care if we win it or not, but they should get to play it, right? Because ultimately we didn't do that the last time we played in Europe, and I think it came back to haunt us because we didn't have the depth we wanted going forward. So you know what? Screw it. For me, just you know, if they get into that, I don't think that is a positive on his resume, right?
If we get
7
into
plays playing in Europa, you need a deep squad to play in that thing. Who wants to do that?
You need
Right.
a deeper one if you get into the Champions League, and we are stripping the squad down. It's like that plane. It's like the plane in Lost. You're trying to lose all the weight you can. You're trying to strip the plane down so you can travel a bit further. We're going to do that, and if we get into the top 4, we're going to have a pretty lightweight plane to go into the Champions League with.
I
And
think some of the younger players as well have looked a bit jaded. I thought ESR's looked quite jaded in the last
Yeah.
game. Saka's looked a little jaded. So I think the break that we're going to have, it's going to be fresh, everybody, as well. They're going to get some sunshine on their faces, and they should come back revitalized. There is no excuse for fatigue or heavy legs. Everyone should be coming back, almost like they've had a little mini preseason and a break.
see this one. There's a Ray. I think it's Ray Anderson. I don't know if that's directed to me. you got the Stan thing going on, and I've got the Ray and Ray Anderson. They will not
Ray, nobody's talking to you. I'm sorry. I'll just blow your bubble right now.
Aw.
You're still mad your Cowboys lost to the playoffs.
When my
Now
wife
you're
said
angry.
something nice to me, she's not really talking to me. Oh. Look, I just looked. Wolverhampton Wanderers will play Norwich in that cup that we don't want to talk about,
Europa Conference League.
the FA Cup. So, Stan, Wolves will have 5 days before we meet them. They'll have a weekend game in the FA Cup before Arsenal arrive at Molineux to play them.
What was the question, though? You just gave me a statement.
It was directed at
Yes, I
me.
agree. They do.
Yes, I agree. They do. Wolves, we'll have the benefit of not playing a game. It might be a bad thing. Wolves will come back from their break, play an FA Cup game. It's not always.
We might even have a Wolves player as part of our squad by then.
What are you laughing at, Ray?
You're just using your knife to cut your strap off there. Yeah, we might even. Who are we gonna have?
Ruben
Cut
Neves.
my hospital band off, Ray.
Who's Stan?
Ruben Neves.
Yes.
There's
That
a
would
rumor
be-
that
that would be good.
we've reopened that again, which is
Again?
which I would be happy about personally if anybody wants to know. But Wolves, it's going to be an important game, that one, because they're kind of like barking around the same kind of area that we're trying to park and plant our flag. So there's no excuses that we can't get nothing out of that game. Everybody's going to be back. We may have 1 or 2 additions because the window will be closed. If we get any auditions, they'll have had plenty of time to bed in with the team. They said that if anyone comes in, they're going straight over to Dubai to join the squad. It's we're not going to be far away before we know where this season's going to end up. We're going to know pretty soon, I think.
Yeah. As Rady says, Stan here, this Wolves, if they win, they'll go above us. I think there's 2 points, something like that, between us. It is really a game we're going to come back to after a break, and it's going to have a major bearing on our season.
Every game, I believe, is going to be one of those types of games because the ones that are scheduled are the easiest ones for us to win.
Stop that, Tony.
What did he do?
He's waving a weapon around. I don't know how YouTube takes
Not
these
the
things very,
weapon,
very
right?
seriously.
You know what? I will see. That's right. Stan. That's what I thought, and I was like, dude, come on.
My mum watches this tiny side. Keep it away. All right. keep it tucked away wherever it is.
It's not that sharp.
Fucking hell.
It's not pointy, is it?
No, you know what? We're going down the we're going the
Yeah.
wrong way. Let's just put the brakes on. Let's go back to where there's light at the end of because we're going down
Tony brings. Tony brings this.
we're going down an alleyway, and I'm not liking it. It's getting really dark, and I'm
Pull a
hearing.
handbrake, Gary.
I
Handbrake, Gary.
would say Tony's really come into his own in the last few weeks, but that would be just encouraging to him.
Yeah, no, we don't know. This is not what we want.
We're giving Nevers and Wilshire for midfield cover. Yeah, Gary, Wolves.
No, like I said, that is an important game just because it's the next game, but also because we have had enough time, hopefully, to figure out how we can beat them. They've been playing really well, so we're going to have to be set up and ready, prepared to go. So yeah, no, I guess they are missing. Adama is gone, right? So he won't threaten us when he comes on. So
I should have put a hashtag baby oil in there on the podcast. I should have done that.
Yeah,
I knew it. He glistened every time he'd come on for 15, 20 minutes. Gary, he was glistening.
Yeah.
In the spotlights, in the floodlights.
It's crazy how much he puts on. When you see him, getting ready to come on, you're like, damn. It's just like basically just like.
Is that because of players grabbing onto him? Will he be able to slip away?
I would assume so because he's really fast, right? He's really quick. So, but yeah, no, this is a game that we need to. They've been playing solid, more consistent, I believe, than we have. Everybody knows how they're going to play. They just can't stop it sometimes. We've shown some glimpses, and we need to continue to do that. So yeah.
Reddy says Adama has all the pace but zero finishing, and that's why he was perfect for Spurs. But we don't have to. I saw somebody say, Gary, we don't have to face him twice this season now.
No, it's just when he comes on, right? Because he never started really. He usually came
Not
on
really.
when they needed
He
something
does bring
else.
a chaos factor.
And the last two games, I believe that he came in, he actually produced, right? I think he produced 2 goals, right? In the last 2 times he's come on. So
yeah, that was Spurs are knocking on my door, so I'm going to up my level and score a goal. It was a great goal he scored, I got to say.
Yeah.
The manager was squirting the oil all over his arms before.
Yeah.
This is a football podcast. This is a football podcast.
Yeah, I don't know.
To know that.
This is definitely a football podcast.
Don't go there, Tony. Don't go there.
Yeah. No, I was just gonna. I know I missed this. This was earlier. The assemble was just talking about Arteta getting all his players, even though he wants to re-sign Xhaka and Nketiah, and Bellerin will be back. So yeah, it's going to be scary. I kind of feel like once he sees it, then he knows, right? Once he saw Martinelli, then he didn't have to go. You know what? I can bring Pepe on, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I think those are the things he doesn't believe it until he sees it, and then when he sees it, then he seems to go in the right direction. So hopefully, at some point, when he sees Partey next to somebody who gives us something better, that he realizes that might be the pairing that he wants in midfield.
Tony, you and I agreed. I kind of wanted to play the North London derby, but maybe hindsight is a good thing, and in hindsight we could say it was probably better we got the game postponed because BX Gunner says we dodged the bullet getting that game called off against Tottenham. It would have beaten us. We don't know if they would have beaten us per se, but because they had a lot of players out, but they've gotten some results when we haven't.
Yeah, to me, we were only 2 players down from what we had Thursday, just 3 days earlier. We wanted to know if Saka was injured or not because we didn't access see if the players were hurt or not. We didn't look at it. We just filed the deal to the FA, got the game delayed. To me, we haven't signed anybody. We haven't reinforced our team. We've gotten rid of 3 players. So as things stands, we should have went ahead and played it because right now it's looking worse for us than it did before.
Stan, what's your take on it? I'm kind of at the time I was thinking, let's play this game. I was feeling kind of cocky about it, but hindsight's a great thing. I don't know if we would have gotten the results.
I think we should have played the game, but I also think that by not playing the game, it's helped us. I would have preferred us to have tried to have put a team out. I think all of the teams, as I say, you put 25 players in at the beginning of the season, you should be able to draw on all of that and then go down to your academy. It's just the way that it goes. But, looking at it from a more greedy Arsenal point of view, it's probably done us a little bit of a favour. We probably got more chance of getting something out of that game playing them next time than we did playing them, when we should have played them.
Yeah, playing them fresh. Yeah, I've been checking out Lolo at 10 o'clock most evenings now, so he's doing some good stuff over there. Good for him to come. Happy he came in to see what we're talking about. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I got to go. I got to go on there a couple of days ago. So that was cool. So yeah, he's doing good things with that.
Yeah,
I think it's like a half an hour show, so it's not too long.
Half an hour show, quick, snappy. Not like us. We drag it out. We tear it out. We pull it apart, like a dog doesn't know what he wants to do, eating it or whatever. Anyway.
Lolo's Friday night happy hour was pretty entertaining as well.
Yeah.
I've been on a couple of times, and I do like the quiz on there. The quiz on there, going there, got a good quiz sort of going on there. It's quite fun. Mr. Tom's always in there as well with his betting advice for the weekend.
Yeah, he put some crazy acute.
Mr. Tom seems to be everywhere, Stan. It's kind of like Gary.
Yeah. That hat on Tony's head is made from that bear that he killed with his own 2 hands. So listen, chat, if you got any more questions, throw them at us. We're going to chat for a little bit more and then get out of here. Anything else we want to talk about? Tony Turner, your namesake, the goalkeeper.
Matt Turner.
We talked about it a little bit.
Yeah, are we going to get him this winter? Are we going to get him in the summer? Are we going to sell Leno now, or are we going to sell him?
How old is he?
He's not coming in this. He's not coming until the summer, so we're not. I can't see us selling Leno.
Does anyone know how old this guy is?
I thought I saw he's 20.
I just know Gary's buying me a shirt since it has my surname on it.
I was thinking 24 as well, without having any knowledge of it. And Gary,
I think he's 24. So. Let me just check that out.
It's a nice number.
Backup keeper for the USA, is that right? Gary said earlier.
Yep.
Yeah,
that seems like a pretty reasonable standard to have as a backup keeper, right? He plays international games.
You know what? Sorry, he's 27.
All right, that's still all right. Still all right. As goalkeepers go. Now, Stan,
Ramsdale could probably learn a little bit off of him, right? He's been around in the international teams, preparation for games, things like that, little things like that. Ramsdale could probably learn something from someone who's been around a little bit longer. And just speaking, while we are speaking of Ramsdale, he looks shaky. He's been looking a bit shaky the last couple of games, hasn't he?
Yep.
Coming out and punching the ball instead of grabbing it. And
it made me so nervous that Thursday against Liverpool, he just kept.
Oh, we just, you know what? And that's until he comes back. But that's why
I didn't do it. Wasn't me. I didn't press that button.
Yeah, that's why you need a full squad.
KGB
right?
turned out, didn't they?
Yeah.
No, think about that. Vacation.
Yeah, no, but think about it. That's why you need a full squad, because he doesn't need to play every game, and I don't think he's at that point where he can play a full season and no rest and be fine with it. I don't think he's done that because he's played for some terrible teams. He's finally playing with a really good squad, and what we need from him, can he give it to us every week the way he was in the beginning? I don't think so, not right now, and I think he needs to learn that when he's having a bad day, there's certain things he cannot do. Yeah. Right, and I don't think he's got there yet.
I also think the level of opposition on Liverpool will expose your nervousness, will expose some of these things here and there. They will push your limits. We asked for questions. We got one. Director John, I think, is in here as well. You guys talking about us? Yeah, we did mention.
Director John's ears are burning, I feel.
Hey, he's pretty good. He's pretty good backstage there, isn't he? we asked for questions. Here's the question. Tony, start us off. Who is your favorite?
I just wrote it down, Ray. It's our 5th ball boy.
I have the eject button at my fingertips. Do you want to get ejected?
I just answered a question. I didn't do anything wrong.
Gary, no,
You
you
know what
didn't.
I did? I actually did I submitted some answers to this exact question on another podcast. Now I can't remember. I mean, I think Aubameyang came in, and Aubameyang is one of those players in the top, definitely the top 5, or maybe in the top 3 of players that have come in. But there was another one that came in. I think Aubameyang's come in. He's been top of the league in scoring 2 years in a row. We've gotten 2 FA Cups with him around, I believe, right? Or no, one FA
One
Cup.
FA Cup, one Community Shield.
Community Shield. So he's been really good for the time being he's been in. But there are other players. Man, I forget the names now, and I should know the names because I just did this.
You don't remember the name of the one player we signed, Gary?
Andre.
Signed one player.
Think of Tony. Think of Tony's location.
He's Russian.
Oh yes, Arvin.
Andrei Arshavin.
Arshavin, yes.
Or
Sorry,
as Alan Shearer always used to pronounce it, every time he would talk about Arshavin, he would always say arse shaven. I knew what he was doing, man.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so here's the list. Actually, Anelka. This is my top. I'm gonna go with my top 5. So, Anelka, Aubameyang, Torre, Arshavin, and Adebayo. I know nobody wants to have him that high, but for what he did bring, he was one. I think Reyes was also Reyes. I think is the one player that.
I think he came in January.
Yeah, and as Bouye, Diaby, Walcott, and Erdegaard were my top 10. No. I think Erdegaard. Everybody thought, nah, shouldn't even be in the top in the list.
Wow. Yeah.
But yeah, that was my list. That's based on what I saw and can remember. So, but yeah. So those were the players. I think Reyes is hard to keep off that list, right? So,
yeah, he joined the winning team.
Yeah.
And got us some vital goals. I did quite enjoy Arshavin as well. He was good while it lasted. The ex-gunner. He was a bust in the end.
He was misused like Podolski was.
Those
he
4
comes across
goals
as the sort of guy that if you want to try and tell him off for doing something wrong, as you're telling him off, you're going to start laughing, and he's going to something about him just makes you sort of like start laughing. He's got a very cheeky way about him, Andre Arshavin, and I mean that game against Liverpool. I mean,
cracking 4
different
goals,
different level.
It's just a pity we conceded 4 on the night as well. Walcott. Stan, he stayed around forever, but he did get over 100 goals for us. So,
was he a January signing?
Little Theo, yeah.
Really? There was one that Gary said in his
12
list,
years old.
the list he read out, and I think it was the first name. I can't remember who it was, and I remember
Anelka.
Thinking, did Anelka come in January as well?
He was on the list. Yeah, because I got it was I was on the Armory. I think it's called the Armory, Arsenal Armory. Oh my God, what's the name of the show? I think it's called the Arsenal Armory. And they did a show where they went and said, let's do the January. And Anelka is on that list. Yep.
So it just goes to show you that when you hear people saying, well, it's difficult to do business in January, and there's some good names on there that we've managed to bring in January windows.
Yeah.
The list that Gary read out, I'd forgotten. Nearly a lot of those had actually come in January for some reason, right? The one that always comes to my mind is Andre Arshavin.
So I've got a question.
Some good names.
So I've got a question for all of you and everybody in the chat box. Who's the more hated player, Van Persie or Adebayor?
Van Persie.
You know what? I think that's a tough one for anybody.
I
don't have the hatred because, like I said, the bits that I saw of RVP, I liked it. I didn't like that he left and then went and won. Yeah. But Adebayo, I didn't actually live through that. I mean, as far as live through it, see it happen, cheer for my team, and then see him leave and all.
They didn't like each other.
That happened after that. But yeah. I mean, yeah. So that's my take on it.
And of course, his recent comment standard is probably helping to influence all three of the people in the chats here right now. Adebayor is getting the votes for the more hated of the two.
For me, it's
mile,
definitely For me, it's Robin van Persie for a mile. I mean, I knew a little bit about him before he came to Arsenal because I lived in Amsterdam for like 18 years. I had a lot of friends that were into different teams and that, and he's a player that I was aware of. And he was on a different planet, mate. The guy was literally a different kind of gravy.
Yeah.
He transitioned his game a little bit like Henry from a left wide player and coming more into the middle. He was a guy that was a game changer. And Alex Ferguson's not stupid. He knew exactly what he was doing when he bought Van Persie. He knew that Van Persie would be able to get him across the line. And he did.
Yeah.
And I think that had Van Persie not left in the way that he had, you would hear his name being mentioned a lot more frequently on social medias. People would put up things about his birthday. They would show clips of his goals. You don't see any of that now. He was right up there for me, right up there. He was on a different planet, and
30 goal season.
The way that he left, hey guys, the little boy inside of I mean, cringe.
Yeah,
just cringe, man.
Yeah, no. The thing about Robert van Persie is, or the team, as far as I was concerned, wasn't that good. But they did have a really good scorer up top, and as long as they got the ball to him, good things always happened, and that's what I thought of Aubameyang. As long as we got the ball to him, he would do something with it, but he can't. He needs it to be basically rolling towards the goal, it seems, before he can get anything out of it. Whereas Robert van Persie scored in multiple different ways. With that, because I mean, if you look at that squad and you go, "Damn, we didn't really have much going on there."
You had Cesc and you had Nasri and
not in that last year. Not last year before he left. We didn't.
Yeah, we did. We almost got to a Champions League final, but he got
Robert van Persie. No, we didn't.
He got fucking red carded in the Champions League.
No, I said his last year when he actually.
You said next to last year. That was his next.
I didn't say next at all, Tony. You heard
that was his next to last year, Gary.
I said his last year.
You said next to last.
I gotta get
Why would I say that? Why would I say that?
I gotta get a ballot for the bouts. Ding, ding,
Why would
ding,
I
ding,
say
ding.
that? That doesn't make any sense.
Ray, it's ding ding. Haven't you watched Rocky? Come on, Frank.
Or if you're Claudio Ranieri, dilly ding, dilly dong.
Dilly ding, dilly dong. Does he really say that? So Van Persie and get in the mix here. Van Persie. Yeah, listen.
Can I say as well? You know when people use this term, such a player is world class. Robin van Persie was that's what a world class player looks like, and I think that. If I was going to measure him against Aubameyang, I would say that Aubameyang is what I'd call a very good player. A very good player, but that there's a level above that which is world class. And Robin van Persie, when he played for us, was playing a little bit like how Suarez played for Liverpool, how Torres played when he was at Liverpool. Henry when he was with us.
Score.
Yeah, he could change the game on his own, And I remember him telling the story about when he was off injured, as he was frequently injured, if you remember. We stood by him, which hurt. Another reason why it hurt that he left, because we stood by him a lot.
He was here for like 8 or 9 years and had 2 good seasons, maybe.
Yeah, no, it was the 2012 was his last season, 30 goals. I mean, and then he left us. I mean, it was just like.
And in 2011, he got a red card.
We're just getting going, lad. We're just getting started. You're going.
Tony. I did. It was the last year, 30 goals.
You said next to last year.
I never said.
That's what I heard.
Hey, Tony.
You know what? Yeah, Tony, you have a problem. Yes, you hear
a lot
of things.
You guys need counseling, Tony. You
fucking too, dude. You need to go fund me for your marriage.
Why is he screaming at us?
Anyway, let me finish my story if I may.
Yes.
Right?
Go ahead.
Robin van Persie was saying that when he was off injured, he was lying in an ice bath, sort of not training or anything, and training had finished. And where the ice bath was, there was just a window, and he could hear someone kicking the ball around. And training had finished, and he looked out there and goes, and there was Dennis Bergkamp on his own after training. Everyone had packed up, still doing stuff with the ball by himself. And Robin van Persie said to himself, "This is what it takes then, if you want to be that good." And that's why I say that when I look at profiles of some of the players, Gary says that we needed at least 10 players, and I'd be inclined to agree with him to fill out the squad.
Yep.
We need a handful of experienced players so that Saka and ESR and Martinelli have those kind of role models around, that they see these are the things that you need to see and be and pick up on.
Yeah.
You know, to become a world-class player. You have to
I
put
was
in the
thinking-
little extra miles, you know, and
I
Dennis
was
Bergkamp
thinking about. Yeah, I was
showed that
thinking
to
about
Van
that,
Persie.
Stan. Our senior management, our senior leadership comprises of Lacazette, which is okay, but then you've got Xhaka and Rob Holding. That's the senior leadership that our young players are
Leadership.
looking.
You know, and that's why Holding is still here, because he's part of the leadership
Yes, and
team.
that's
You
why
just
I was
can't
holding.
you just
and
can't
not
let him
Chambers.
go. I mean, you just
That's
can't
why-
let him go. I mean,
That's why Chambers-
think about the difference that we saw
Don't get me
between
started.
think about the difference that we saw between Saka and Emil Rowe in terms of some of the things that they needed to work on over the summer, right? Scoring, right? Finishing. And we're seeing that from Emil Rowe. And I don't know if he was practicing in the summers, but I think the time away from football did him wonders, right? He's come in and his finishing has been perfect. They don't have to roll the ball to him. He can just kick it out of the air and put it on in between the sticks, right?
He's got great technique.
You know, so it's something that, you know what, if Saka ever gets that time to actually work on his craft, he'll be fine. But he won't, because he'll next year will be the World Cup, right? And then he'll be tied from that.
Yeah, I mean, and I heard next summer there's another AFCON next summer. Not this coming summer, next summer. After
Just
the
kind of
World
like a
Cup.
World Cup
6
every
months
2
after the World
years
Cup.
now.
So the players are not getting any breaks at all. Stan, I wanted to tease this out.
I don't
Just
have any
finish-
say on Van Persie.
No,
I'm gonna
you
come
get
to
no
you.
say. We don't.
I'm going to come to you.
Tony, we just bring you on for comedy relief. Come on, you know how this works.
Stan, we know Van Persie was so good, world class. Adebayor was not so much, but Adebayor was a bigger dick than Persie was in the end. How do you equate the two? Like Van Persie gets sold to United. He's got the little boy wanted to go to United, but Adebayor came and disrespected Arsenal, like in that game with City.
Both as bad as each other, but with Adebayor, for me, it's definitely he still saw about it because he's still talking about it now. He was in the paper this week, putting his 2 pennies in about Arsenal never learn. They treated me the same way they're treating about me. It's like, oh, mate, come on, turn it in. Nobody cares about you anymore. Do you know what I mean? It's,
like Emmy.
What? It's almost like it's basically he's just going, pay attention to me. Do you know what I mean? That's all he's saying. Yeah, he's irrelevant.
I mean,
So-
and Robert Van Persie basically told us what we were probably thinking, and it may have surprised some people, and it may have not, but it was things that this team probably doesn't have ambition, and his the way that he was speaking was they didn't have ambition, and that's why it was okay to go.
Yeah.
Right. That's
Sometimes
what
the truth hurts, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But as fans, you really don't want your players to.
Don't do hear it, yeah.
You don't want to hear it.
Shut up,
Like,
Robin.
You want them to put their head down and play, but Arsene Wenger is selling Robin van Persie to Manchester United. That's when I started thinking Arsene Wenger, that was bad. Well, I didn't like that. You know what I mean? And that was the start of me thinking it's time for Wenger to go. Tony, what's your take? I better go to you, Tony. What's your take?
What's my take on what,
Adebayor, Van Persie. The whole conversation the adults have been having without you.
It's definitely Van Persie by a country mile, as we'd say here. It's wide golf. It's not even a contest. But to me, I always liked Van Persie. I started playing with him on FIFA when he first got here. I was also fond of Walcott. You'd get Van Persie, you through ball it to Walcott, then pass it to Van Persie, you'd be straight open. Back of a goal every time, right? But to me, Van Persie's not appreciated as much as he should be by the fans. I don't care if he went to Man United or not. He's a good player. Injuries held him back. He's next to the best striker we've had since Gary was striker, or Gary's lookalike. Tony Eduardo was number
but-
2.
But Tony, your legacy can be blown up very quickly when you go
Legacy.
to United.
I like it. I like what you did there.
Legacy in quotes.
Leg. I like it. You're clever, man.
No, I did no,
Sneaky fucker.
We know Tony Ray. We know you.
no. I'm innocent.
You've been saving that one, haven't you?
No,
Yeah, man. That's a good
No.
one. I
But
like that.
Tony does need to.
Yeah, that went up his pants sleeve, Gary.
He let Vieira walk. He gave Gareth number 10.
I broke Gary. I broke Gary.
Brady said he left Arsenal because they lacked ambition, and Alex over at Cannon Fodder TV tells the story. It's the one and only time I think that he cried after an Arsenal player left.
I'm glad the Assemble put that in because that was, this was the very first heartbreaking transfer away from Arsenal that I ever experienced, was Brady leaving, because I'd only just started supporting the club. And the first match that I went to away at Crystal Palace, it was Liam Brady was the one that stuck out. And that's why I started supporting Arsenal. So he was my favourite player. And then he must have found out that I started supporting and left, because he just left at the end of that. I think it was the next season that he left. So that really, that was my first ever transfer away that broke my heart, was Chippy.
And when you're young, you feel those
Chippy
things.
said, "Fuck you, Stan. I'm getting out of here."
And then my next player after that became my favourite. And it's a weird one. My next favourite player was, for ages,
would have been like in the early 80s, right? Graham Rooks.
Yeah. How'd you get that?
I think I heard you talking about Graham Rooks before.
And the first time I cried because of football was when he missed that penalty in the in Europe. Do you remember the final?
No. I arrived on the
Man.
scene by 86,
Valencia.
87. Yeah.
Valencia. Graham Rooks went up for his penalty, man, and he fucking didn't. Oh, your favourite player. I just burst out into tears.
All right, so that's your story, Stan, and your favorite player leaving. Yeah. Gary, you got one Arsenal player that hurt you when they left?
Like I said, my history is not as long as you guys, so
no,
it would be Robert Van Persie, and that was like probably a year or two after I started getting into watching Arsenal again, because that was just. Isn't that what we want? We want that type of player, right? We want that guy who puts the ball in the net over and over and over and over and over again. So all he needs is to get a better squad behind him so that even when he scores, we can defend better or we can score more, one of the two. And he left. And I was like, wow, that sucks, right? Because that kind of was painful there to see that happen.
And Wenger signing off and going to Manchester United, staying, winning the league. Yes. And we would have to face Vermaelen getting embarrassed by Van Persie, at least for the next.
I don't know. Did we lose to them painfully like the next year?
Yes.
I think
2-1. Maybe we lost, but we lost, and he scored against us. I remember that one, Vermaelen.
Mm. Yeah, no, it was like I said, that one for me would be the painful one, because he got a trophy out of it. I mean, Giroud getting a trophy isn't the same because he wasn't a starter. He wasn't like somebody who led us. Like he came in and did his job and he did it well, but he wasn't a starter for us.
He had one job, and he did it well.
He did it. He did it well, man. He did it well.
Reddy's asking me who my best ever Irish Arsenal player is. I got to go with David O'Leary for that one.
Good choice.
Record appearances for the club.
600 was it 620 something? What was it? I remember when he had the shirt and it had the number on the back of the appearance.
Ray has it written on his ceiling, apparently.
I have it up there. It's 558, but I thought it was more than that. 558. That will never get beaten.
You don't have it in your Menudo notebook, Ray?
Fantastic player.
David O'Leary, part of the back three that played at Anfield in '89, helped. Not that Tony Adams needed help or Steve Bold needed help, but it was really a bold, and forgive the pun, a bold initiative, playing five at the back, George Graham, and winning 2-0 up at Anfield. And David O'Leary actually played in midfield for a couple of FA Cup games as well. So, and won honours with Arsenal. So yeah, that's it. Tony, Who did you cry over leaving? A player leaving Arsenal. Who did you cry?
I
You
just
said
cried
you shed
today.
tears.
I just cried today, Ray.
Chambers. Yeah.
That's
Of
it.
course.
That's your Arsenal legend. You cry.
I don't think Chambers was a legend.
I don't know.
Tony said you like the beard and the curly hair.
It's probably Birdcamp, the one that I missed the most.
Yeah, but he retired. I mean, pick
Yeah.
a player.
That's a good way
that
to go out, isn't it? You know, they retire and they never put another shirt on for somewhere else. You know,
walk off into the sunset. There's no tribalism. You didn't go to another team that we hated. You weren't sold to a Manchester City, and then come back and stamp on Van Persie talking about Adama.
Yeah, I really can't pick a legend. It'd be somebody like Arshavin or Podolski, somebody like that. Would be.
Do you know what was a really good moment for me that I really enjoyed when Thierry Henry came back? I mean, fucking hell, whoever thought that would ever happen? And then that game when Mr. Tom, when he came on against Leeds and done it. It was just
he came back after he went to MLS, right?
Yep.
Yeah, they were like they closed for like their winter or something, right?
Yeah.
It was like 3 months and they wanted to train.
I got to see Arsenal play. I got Arsenal.
I think when it was.
Yeah, I get to see Arsenal play in the States because they played against the Red Bulls. So that's like it's right up the not right up the street, I guess you can call it, whatever, from where I live. So I took my daughter and we went to go see it, and he played, and Arsenal won, so that was good. But everybody was just cheering his name at the end, and then a few months later he's playing for Arsenal, scoring, and it's like, oh, look at that. So yeah, so I saw Arsenal play, but it wasn't a legit game.
Wait, no, it's all good.
And then I saw Henry, so there you go. All right, so
losing Sanchez hurt because it showed us to be yellow bellied. He was the last world class player we had, Tony.
No, he wasn't. He was a C word. I can't say it. It actually ends with R.
I'll go to stand there.
It ends with R, not T. He was horrible for the team. No player leaves after you get subbed off.
I thought you liked him for some reason.
No, you drive off in your car. You leave all your teammates in the locker room. You're gone. You're sitting at home. I never liked the guy. I wish him and fans' favorite player, Ozil, left at the same time. We'd been better off if they both left at the same time. To me, it was a mistake. We would have still drawn top talent without the two. I always thought it was a stupid argument. You had to sign one of the two. You could have let them both go.
And of course, Stan is a happier person now that Ozil has departed Arsenal. Much happier person.
Let's not even go there.
Sorry, Stan.
Let's not dig that up.
Sorry, Stan.
Put pour salt into that wound. Pat Jennings or Sammy Nelson, apart from Brady. This is good. We're just walking down a little bit down memory lane here.
Fantastic keeper, Pat Jennings. He scored a goal once, didn't he? But it wasn't when he was playing for us. I think when he was Tottenham's keeper. Scored a goal from a goal kick.
It bounced right over or something like that.
Bounced and went over their keeper. The other person's keeper.
Those were the muddy pitches, You can't have muddy pitches in the Premier League.
He was a very good keeper, though, Pat Jennings, wasn't
he? Yeah. Eduardo was going to be our next talisman. Yeah, listen. Yep. We've had some unfortunate injuries down through the years.
Eduardo, Jesus, man.
Eduardo. Yeah, that was traumatic. I still remember the date, February 23rd. We were
Soda win the league.
We were cooking.
We'd hear of excuses. We wouldn't hear of excuses.
He reminded me of a smaller. He reminded me of a smaller. He looked like Diego Costa, didn't he? Do you remember that? Yeah. He looked like Diego Costa, but was smaller.
He's more clinical than he was, though.
I won't be able to control my emotions.
He was more clinical than Henry was, really.
And Diaby as well.
Brilliant.
Ooh, Abu Diaby. Jesus, that could have a player. There was a player, man. It's sad what happened to him. Never got to see his full potential at all.
So what still annoys me is when you look back at those. You have pundits watching games back and like, oh, back then you used to be able to. You knew once you get up Arsenal, get at them, you'd be able to beat them. Well, that's how teams. That went around the teams that went around the league, and our players were fair game at that point in time, and it wasn't fair at all. I don't think we still don't get the protection that we need. from the Premiership referees.
Well, you know what? You know what? That's on us. That's part of that's on us because we don't have that either player or that. Yeah, we don't have that
Mentality.
player that makes sure that the officials know that you know what that can't happen again. I don't think they. I think when Lacazette goes to talk to them, they're basically just like whatever, just yeah, just go away. They don't, because you talk about the captains of teams. Look at any of the captains of the teams that are what we consider the top three. If Van Dyke goes to talk to an official, guess what? They listen,
Yeah.
right? If KDB goes to talk to an official, guess what? They listen, right? I think that's what
Yeah.
happens to the bigger teams because we don't. Who is Arsenal right now? When you go Arsenal 2022? Who is that
Yeah,
player?
we don't have that. We don't have that trademark player, that the leader in the team. If you're asking me now, I'm going to say Ramsdale.
But I want him to be talking, and he doesn't talk like in the big games, like
Yeah.
the Liverpools and the Man Cities. It needs to be his game, right? It needs to be
Only
his game.
Gabrielle and
Can I ask you guys a
Lacazette's the only
question?
two talking.
Yeah.
Can I ask you guys a question? Because
Sure.
going back maybe, to last season, when we were talking about captains and potential captains, it seemed that everybody was really behind Kieran Tierney, as was I. But now that where we are now, if we were to choose another captain tomorrow from what we have, who would you choose? For me, I think it would be Martin Odegaard now. With KT as maybe a deputy, or even the other way around. But
Yeah.
I think those two I like as a captain and a vice captain.
I,
And if
I
it's a
think
triumvirate, if it's a three thing going on that they have, then I would maybe put Gabriel in there as the third wheel.
with his recent good form in the team, I've started to think of Erdegaard as more of a captain material. I'm still not quite there yet, but yeah, definitely.
Go to Gary's that turned into a Swedish chef trying to say Odegaard's name.
No, I was gonna say that I kind of feel like I think Tierney would be for me the better choice to start with. Yeah, Erdegaard would be there at
Yeah,
least
but he's
second.
like Arteta. Arteta only played 16 games with us and was captain. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, but I have a
Your
feeling
captain
that
has to be on the pitch, Gary. End of
shut
story.
your mouth.
We're getting that from
I'm
you. We're
talking.
getting
The
that.
adults are talking here.
You're in the mute bin.
I didn't mute you.
I did.
No, I was just.
And I like Ramsdale as well for what he brings, but I've always
Well,
got this thing about goalkeepers being captains, Maybe he can be part of the vice things and, part of it, but goalkeepers as captains, I don't like.
Well, you know what?
No.
At this point today, Ramsdale is a leader and a really good one right now.
Yeah.
So that's why I don't mind Ramsdale being it. Maybe in the future when the team is more solidified and we have a full squad because we don't have a full squad right now. So when we have a full squad, then maybe he doesn't have to lead as much because he's got enough things to worry about. But definitely Gabriel has been trying. I don't think every time he gets a red card, I'm like, damn. You just basically shot your chance because it's like, what? You cannot get a red card.
CV goes further down the pile again.
I need to start all over again. And he builds it up, and then he does that. And I'm like, damn it, because he has to learn that he cannot get taken off the pitch because of something that is he can control that.
Rash.
You don't have to make that challenge ever in the middle of the
He's
pitch.
still 23 or 24, Gary.
No, but
so
you know what?
he's got plenty of time.
He did it the first time. You think he would learn from it. He did it again. You know what I mean? Like both times in the middle of the pitch, there was no reason. He had backup. Or guess what? I screwed up. I'm going to run back, as fast as I can to make sure it's not a problem. You know what I mean? Like he had opportunities to recover from it, and he needs to be on the pitch. It's the same thing. It's like Xhaka. If they scored, we still need you on the pitch, but you stick your foot out, who knows what's going to happen, and we lose him, and we get punished for it. Some people say, guess what? And I kind of feel the same way that if he stayed in the game, we'd probably lose anyways. But the fact that he came off, we actually were able to maintain some more discipline So it goes both ways. But I kind of feel like, you know what? I like Gabriel. I like Tierney. Erdegaard is moving in that direction. I don't think he's there yet. He hasn't played as much. I mean, Tierney's played. I believe Tierney's been more influential. Not influential, but he's been more important to the team since he's come back. Since that Tavage came in and got some games in, since
Yeah,
he's come in, he's been
definitely
good.
competed for a
You
spot.
know, so for me, but Tierney for me has been really quiet. I need him to be. He's not leading, which is the. I thought he would. I thought he would just lead. And he doesn't want to lead his line. He doesn't want to. He's not as vocal when somebody gets knocked down. I'm expecting him to be one of the players there, but it's Gabriel that's there, right? When you see Lacazette, you see Gabriel. I expect to see Tierney there, but he's not. So maybe he doesn't want it, or maybe he's been asked to sit this one out. But I kind of feel like it doesn't matter. I want that fiery guy from the Leeds game, right? That's who I want. I want somebody having to grab him and not push him away like Jacques did, but somebody grab him and say, "Stop." Let's go back to the locker room. We'll figure this thing out later. But that's the guy that I want to see more of.
I'm just checking up here. Luis Diaz, as we talked about earlier, Liverpool, 45 million euros plus 15 in add-ons, and he's a striker.
So this is a deal that's going down in this window.
Yep.
Yep. So look, Arsenal, put the money down. Go get yourself a
18
striker.
games, I think I saw, and 14 goals.
Yep. Yeah, pretty impressive. 18 games, 14 goals, and 4 assists. So, he's
A
doing
striker
something.
as well.
Well, if he's scoring that many goals.
So I wonder if there's somebody that might be outgoing, because you think of the three that they've got there at Liverpool. You've got Firmino, Mane, Salah, and then you've got Jota in there as well. Not to mention as a fucking third string, Origi.
All right, so then we go get Jota then, right?
Yeah.
Thanks to the assembler for doing some cleanup duties.
Wake up, Gary!
Stop drinking. Wake up, Gary!
Jota, you should come over.
I wonder if someone's leaving. Isn't Salah's contract negotiations up at the moment? I wonder if there's something going down there. It's a lot of money, right, to be laying out for someone who's going to be a second string or a third string.
That is a lot of cash.
So who's making way?
Liverpool really don't pay those high transfer fees usually. So
they paid us 40 million for a player.
Well, hang on, Lacazette's been playing like a B-Tech Bobby Firmino. Why don't we just go and get Bobby Firmino? Do you know what I mean?
The real Bobby.
Have the real deal.
Yeah. So, yeah, listen. One striker. Who do you want?
For me right now, I want right now. For me right now, I want. Do you want me to answer?
Yeah. All 4 of us will answer.
At the same time, or individually?
No, individually. You can pick one striker and one that you wish he could. One that you think they'll get, and one that you wish.
I think we should. I think I would like to see Calvin Lewin. I feel like if that's the way we want to play, then I think I would like to have him. Mm-hmm. But all the other strikers that are out there, they would be part of our team. So if it's Jonathan David, if it's Isaac, for me it doesn't matter. They all come in anyway. I want both of them. I want both. I want Calvin Lewin and I want
Stan wants 3 of them.
And I want Jimenez, right? I want Jimenez. I want all 3 of them. All 3 of them play on our team. I would have liked one of them to be in.
Stan, Gary.
I love the way Gary's converted to the Jimenez fucking thing, man. Good man.
You converted him.
Good shout, isn't it? Good shout.
You say Jimenez, really?
I know. I want all 3 of those. I want the 19 to 21-year-old striker. I want the 24 to 26-year-old striker, and I want the 28 and above striker. All of them, because we don't have them now. So what? Just go get them. You're going to spend the money for them anyways. Eventually, they're going to spend that money. Go get them. So sorry, I didn't give you I gave you all of the above, but yes.
I mean, there's a lot out there. DCL dress ends puts me off. I don't like Arsenal.
It's called expanding the it's called diversity and what to call it.
Steven, just imagine it's a kilt. Just imagine it's a kilt, Stephen. Isn't that okay for the Scottish?
They've already got a
That bothers
Aubameyang.
me when we had Bellerin dressing in funny shit for fucking.
I'm sure Aubameyang doesn't look in the mirror before he leaves the house as well.
Who dresses worse? Which one of the two dresses worse?
If he's putting
Bellerin,
goals in, I don't care.
or Uba? Which
I
one?
don't care what he does.
I'm with Gary on that one. I don't care what he does.
Stan, which one's the worst dresser, Bellerin or Uba?
It's a fine margin between the both of them, isn't it? Do you know what I mean?
Well, the wraps shaded for me. The Lambo wraps shaded for me. So, Oba.
He's got his high performance like sports cars that cost 200 grand upwards, and they look like they're like quality streets, like the sweets, quality streets coming down the street, all wrapped up in pink and purple.
I saw that comment about Mac Turner. So I just reading here from Fabrizio. It's 7 million plus 3 million in bonuses. So he'll be in the summer, and I guess I know one thing I don't get. So we're getting him, right? But then also we're going to sell Leno, who I believe is a starting goalkeeper.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And right now I believe it's 10 million for him. And I just is that really? He's worth more than that, right?
Who's worth more? Leno.
At least 15, closer to 20
than 25, didn't we?
Yeah, but my understanding is
gone down in value that much, is it?
Newcastle is like 10 million is my understanding. Maybe I'm wrong, but
why does he have 18 months left?
They've got the money.
There should be a Newcastle tax before a conversation because they're fucking loaded. So before you even talk to me, there's a tax right there.
We should be squeezing them. We should be squeezing them for every penny, Stan.
10 million. That is paltry. We paid 25 for the guy, around 25 million euros or so. Yeah. He's not gone down in value. Newcastle have money falling out of their pockets, literally.
But you know what, Gary? I also feel that the press guys, they're having a laugh with us sometimes, I think, as well.
No, he is definitely worth a lot more, but it's Arsenal, and we just don't get we don't carry that same kind of, I guess it's the Arsenal tax, right now that kind of works against us sometimes. He's a starting goalkeeper, right?
Yeah, all day long.
Shin cards.
I would actually, if I had my way, I would love to keep Leno as our backup and have a keeper like that who, if a Ramsdale does go through a wobbly patch and Leno can come in and I'm confident in Leno. Leno's not a shit keeper. Yes, he does have some deficiencies that Ramsdale has, which makes it better, but he's a good keeper. But I get it. He doesn't want to be a number 2, and he doesn't seem like the sort of guy that's like, I believe that I'm better than Ramsdale, therefore I will fight for it.
Yeah, no, he doesn't want to fight for it. He's in the Granit. He probably has his shirt right beside Granit Xhaka's shirt in the dressing room, and the two of them are we're first teamers.
We can go to Newcastle, right? Play every week, but again, he's like, well, you might get relegated. Well, how about you go there and keep the goals out so they don't get relegated? Yeah. Believe in yourself. Yeah,
and you know what? They play a good style of football, anyways. It wasn't like we played against them. And I thought, okay, this is a really, really terrible team. Terrible. No, they're not that. They don't have all the talent of a lot of the other squads, but they do play. They have some. I mean, they have some scary guys on the offensive side. If you don't do your job, they will punish you, right? Maximum and even the striker
Wilson.
Wilson, they will punish you if you make mistakes.
Callum
right?
Wilson, he's a good striker.
That Maximum guy's good, isn't he?
Yeah.
Maximum, I like him. Some people don't.
I look at him and I think to myself, that's what I thought Pepe was supposed to be.
Yeah,
doing shit like that.
Yeah,
or was the youth of the day say
Pepe is just that very reserved player. I think I saw him get excited at the AFCON one goal when they beat.
Excited.
He got excited.
He got excited. I saw it. I got to share that with you.
I got to go back and watch that then, because if he gets excited for anything, it should be recorded and replayed over and over and over again.
I know they're not, right? I know they're not, but I always got the feeling. I got the feeling that Pepe and Ainsley Maitland-Niles they look like a couple of spliff heads, mate. They look like they were like after training, getting on the bong, playing. They always look like they were like, yeah, man, whatever. You know what I mean? Yeah, we'll get to it. There's just, like Berbatov always seemed very laid back as well, right? Do you know what I mean? But
how do you know what stoned people look like, Stan?
because I'm stoned most of the time.
We look at you every week. That's why.
I'm stoned right now. I'm not sending this one to my mum, by the way.
Yeah, Mom, don't watch
Me too,
this one.
Stan.
Stan's mom, don't watch this one. Go check out Lolo on the stoop a little bit later. They were talking about Jesse Lingard's shin guards. So that would be, maybe it's a play on Lingard, I'm thinking. Shin guard. Huh? See, I've already cracked it. Already cracked the code. Tony, give me your two players. Are we gonna,
Finally.
you're going to wake up on Monday or Tuesday and find out we're going to go get them.
I went with Martinez this summer instead of letting Inter sell Lukaku to Chelsea for all that money. That's who I would target. But instead, we're going to get Calvert-Lewin. Who would I get?
And is that it?
Yep, that's it.
Calvert-Lewin. I think we might drop a lot of money on Isaac on Monday. The
I hope
release
not.
clause.
He doesn't
Really
seem to
fast.
do it for me. I don't know what you guys think, but he doesn't seem.
Reminds
he
me
seem like a
of Thierry
finisher.
Henry before Thierry Henry was good.
But that's a lot of
That'd be
that's honorary money.
That would be nice.
And it's
It
not,
sure
and, it's
is.
not, and you're not getting honorary for a year or two.
And I don't know what
90
the release
million
clause
buyout
is,
clause.
Tony.
Come on, man. Are we a team? Are we in a position? Are we in a position that we should be in doing that kind of business? It just seems risky. I just think that you could bring in two for the price of that.
Yeah. I do have another one. Nobody's talking about. And I do think Arteta was talking to Stan about a lot of things, but mainly open up your purse strings there. We'll ship out Callum Chambers, reduce the wage bill.
Don't talk about that, Ray.
But here's the name.
It's too soon.
Nobody's talking about this player. He had a great Euro 2020. Patrick Schick, Czech player. In Bayer Leverkusen, I think he is. And behind Lewandowski, he scored the most goals in the Bundesliga. Patrick Schick. Nobody's talking about him.
Patrick Shit? Is that what you just said, Ray?
Patrick Schick. He's a
Yeah.
Czech player.
That's a K at the end, not a T. Tony.
Yeah.
He just likes to say that word.
Liverpool dropped all this money for Luis Diaz. So why
I
can't
have a feeling he doesn't want to come to Premier League. That's just me. Yeah.
Patrick Schick.
Yeah. No, I mean, for me, if there was two players, I guess I'll jump in front of Stan if he was still thinking. But I like Calvin Lewin. I do like the Neves talk that's been going on recently.
Midfielder.
Neves, yeah.
So one of each, you'll take a striker and midfielder. I just feel we're not going to get a midfielder because we're so wedded to Xhaka, Partey, Lokonga, and Mohamed El Neni, who I rate as well. Stan, you got two names that you probably already did you start this thing off?
I can't remember. I'm usually at the
mean,
I'm
Tony's the
usually in the beginning
Tony
of the
remembers.
I like what Gary
Stan's too
said, though.
stoned to remember, right?
I'm stoned all the time. Remember, Stanley gets battered everywhere he goes. Anyway,
Different kind of pattern.
as Gary, this is something that me and Gary have spoken before now on pods about the three strikers that we have to bring in between this January and next January, right?
Yeah.
There's going to have to be three at some point, and Gary's exactly right about that profile. We need one. We need one that's going to be in that sort of like Raul Jimenez bracket. We also need someone that's going to be in that Jonathan David bracket. And then Gary says DCL. I quite like Darwin Núñez. But if I can only pick one right now, you're saying, okay, you got to wake up tomorrow morning and have a striker and a midfielder. I would probably go for, as much as I like Jonathan David, I would rather go for him in the summer and I would go for Raul Jimenez now. The reason is because I just feel that he ain't going to need the bedding in time. Don't get me wrong. Long term, I would prefer to have Jonathan David.
Yeah.
I would. But if we're looking at we're going to be getting, then I think Raul Jimenez, just for now, he comes in, he hits the ground running, and we may get higher than a Europa League place. You never know. The midfielder, there's two that I like. I like Gini Wijnaldum and I like Neves. I like both of those.
Yeah.
I also like Donny. Obviously, I'm a big Donny fan because he can play in a few positions. But Gini Wijnaldum is a proven winner. He knows, he's been in teams that have won things. He knows how it goes. And I'm a big
too
fan
hard
of.
to get Donnie on loan. Couldn't stand. Just pay his
Yeah,
rent.
again, it's from Man U, right? They probably won't play ball with us. They don't see Crystal Palace as a threat. But Neves, I've liked for a long time. I liked it when we were talking about Neves a couple of seasons ago, and I watched the game just the other day, some highlights, and he was making some great passes across the field from deep. So, Gini Wijnaldum, strike Neves. I can't split it. Any one of those two, I'd be happy with, and then Raul Jimenez because it's now. And in the summer, we can go again with the DCLs, the Davids, and what have you.
Yeah. Thunder Road, it's just the shirt. It's got some, I think that's what the chemistry is all about.
That's not Breaking Bad. That's Breaking Arsenal.
Breaking.
There's a picture here of Burn Leno with the missus in Dubai. So,
Boy, his missus is something to look at.
that's not where I was going with that.
I think we'll substitute her for you. That
just changing it a little bit because you're talking about stuff. I just remember reading today, just a quick thing. You know that bird that Cristiano Ronaldo was with, who for years and that we weren't allowed to know anything about her. Like we weren't allowed to see her. She's got some documentary about her coming on Netflix. I'm like, really? Like his missus is getting her own thing.
That's why she was holding herself back for Netflix. Yeah, Tony, the Arsenal fan circle transfer window is still open, so we could do a free transfer there.
It was your choice, Ray.
Burn Leno's misses, huh?
It was your pick. You made us. You held our feet to the coal.
I told you.
What about your pick? You wake up tomorrow.
He said Burn Leno's misses.
No, I told you already. You've forgotten.
Oh, you didn't say. Who's your midfielder and striker?
Isaac. No, not a midfielder. I like Gini. I didn't give you a midfielder.
Wijnaldum.
I like Gini Wijnaldum. But I don't think he wants to come to us. You know what I mean?
But you know what? Twitter said he does want to come. So, Twitter's always right.
That's true, right? How much did we get for Chambers, Tony?
We got $2 million. Some transfer market actually had it down as a free transfer.
And some of
Tony's
Tony's
tiers. 18.21 for him.
Some of Tony's tiers for free as well. 18.21 million. What's that?
That's what we paid for Chambers.
It was 14, 16 actually.
That's what we do. Listen, we're going to get out of here in a few minutes. Real quick chat. Somebody asked about Mazraoui, the Moroccan striker from Ajax. Kind of like him, huh? His record is 5 goals in 16 games, so he really hasn't scored a lot. Anyway, let's see what happens.
Yeah, you really for Arsenal, anyways. We need a player that comes in, and even if they can't repeat what they did in their domestic league, they
says 18.21, Gary.
I saw something that said 16, so
Let's get into final thoughts. Who wants to start?
Gary does.
All right, so here we go. What is it? Today is almost Friday.
Go ahead. Sorry.
What do you want to say? Go ahead.
No, go ahead. I'll have my say in a minute.
Yeah, I understand. Yeah. Now, so we got what today? Tomorrow's Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and it's 4 days, and so we get this thing done. I'm hoping for surprises.
When is the window shut? Is it Sunday, Gary?
31st, Monday.
Monday at 11:30 p.m. I believe UK time. So I have my show on Monday, so it'll be done by then. So we'll be able to talk about whatever.
Good. Yeah.
But no, I'm hoping they surprise us. They've surprised us before. It'd be nice if they surprise us again. It'd be nice if it was 2 players. So I'm hoping for 2 players to come in, hoping everybody is healthy. And like I said, they go on this trip. I'm just hoping that they come back united and ready to play for each other again. So that's what I'm hoping.
Come back Arsenal, not United.
They need to come back
Arsenal.
as a team, not
United.
Shut it.
And
But we need. I like that. We need to bring in 2 players this window, not 2 players in general, because we already have Matt Turner. But no, 2 players we need to bring in, and he's a lot of money though, isn't he? They're not gonna. He's not gonna be cheap. He's got. Doesn't he have either injury issues, right? So I don't think. No, I think there are other players out there that may cost the same amount of money, and we don't have to deal with either, injuries. So 2 players. That's what I'm looking for. Is there any football to even watch?
yes, AFCON. We're gonna watch the AFCON over the weekend, and there is championship games. I think Balaga is Balaga.
There are other international games too.
The AFCON. I'm going to get into the quarterfinals of the AFCON. That's going to be good over the weekend to watch that. Tony, final words. Hopefully, your final words. Anyway, you might sling one in right at the end, but this.
My final words is nothing to do about football. It's just health. Never take it for granted. I had the booster for COVID. Now I've had it twice. I take my insulin like I'm supposed to. I have another bad infection in my leg, my good leg. Just got back from the hospital, but that's why I wasn't here for the start of the show. So you can never take it for granted, even if you're doing everything you're supposed to. You never know what's going to come up. So like Gary says, never waste a trip. Like I said, tomorrow is the past, today's a gift, tomorrow is the future. Just live in the moment. That's pretty much it.
And Tony, please, you're going to do what you need to do, okay, to keep everything copacetic, as I say, right?
The only thing that sucked, Ray, was the hot nurse left right when I came in. But what I like, it's like, fuck.
She could dress your leg. Listen, Arsenal, go do what you got to do. Don't have any hijinks. Stay away from Brownie.
Ray, we've had 3 weeks to do what we need to do. Come on.
Arsenal players, stay away from that guy called Adam Brown out there. We had 3 weeks.
He's in Dubai too. Is he out there with Arsenal?
He's chasing them around. There's a guy behind the palm trees. It's like snap.
Who the fuck is this Welsh guy we can't understand?
Brownie's tomorrow. Brownie's signed. Brownie to Arsenal. Undisclosed fee.
I feel confident that Arsenal is going to go and get whoever they've been targeting. They must have a plan. I feel like they have a plan. I feel confident. Now that Chambers is gone, that they felt comfortable in their targets, that they'll go and do that.
Yeah, Chambers made them feel comfortable.
No, but we've decimated we've emptied out the team. Now we need to build it back up, and we do need to.
Yeah, but we won't sign as many players.
You've had your final word. Come on. Final word, mate. Don't you understand?
You can't retort.
He said maybes. Didn't you hear Stan?
Word.
Didn't you hear, Ray? Didn't you hear what he said? He said this might be Tony's final words.
It's smoky over there, and so he just can't hear you over the smoke. I'm sorry.
I'm going to start wearing nappies to this show, or diapers, as you call it, because I need to go to the toilet. All right, continue.
Well, you're going to make it short then, Stan, aren't you? Ray, don't make Tony cry with Chambers talk.
My final word is short and sweet. I understand the anxiety, Arsenal people. I understand the anxiety. Just try and hold it in until that window shuts. And if you don't get what you want, let it out. Go mad. Tell them.
Definitely. I'm going to drop a link if anyone wants to come and say hello backstage.
Steve, come join us. Come on, Steven.
Steven,
come join us.
Only on Arsenal fan circle.
Tony
Turner. Arsenal's got their Turner. We've got a Turner as well.
Yeah, and he's another head Turner, So anyway, let me drop the link.
Echo now. Is it Gary?
He's in bed. Says he's in bed, Tony. So anyway, all right. Listen, thanks everyone. Great people in here. I thought it'd be quiet tonight, but A lot of Arsenal people can't sleep, won't sleep, want to know what's happening. And we haven't enlightened you in any way, shape, or form, but at least we've hopefully entertained you.
Right, cut it short so Stan can go take a shit. Come on.
All right. We'll catch you the weekend. Take care, everyone. Come on, you Gooners.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.